Okay, here we are. Just gotta turn everything on and get into the game. Let's see, hopefully, yep, there we go, perfect. Yeah, last time I tried to start a stream with it, it ended up breaking on me, which is unfortunate, but thankfully it seems like we're done here. So right now, we finished up everything last stream for the 3 streets, so now we can head over to Krokotopia whenever. However, as you can see, there's still some stuff we have left to do, so we're just going to do that really fast. I'm not sure how long tonight's stream will be because of that. I did a shorter stream earlier today, and the 2 stream idea does seem pretty viable. I just need to figure out the schedule. I think I'll be doing most of them in the early afternoon instead from now on, because it's a little bit more convenient to do it. I just need to actually start waking up at around that time. So as it stands right now, it's probably gonna end up being 1 long stream in the afternoon, or 2 streams of varying length, just so that way I can get more stuff done. As it stands right now, we neglected to grab this, these 2 books in here. We did it. We were able to grab the Storm one on Triton Avenue behind the Harvest Store without getting into a fight, so hopefully we can just do that the same way. But I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work like that. Oh, wait, it was so close. If I just pressed X, like instinctually, it probably would have worked. Well, whatever. This guy isn't too hard. So yeah, what was I saying? Right, the streaming thing. The stream schedule, that is. I'm not entirely sure, if it's gonna end up being 2 times a day, but I'll be sure to post it on the Twitter whenever I am going to figure it out. But more importantly, right now, I think I'm just gonna play it by ear and figure it out. Because another issue is the stream length. They're still almost 7 hours. Some of them are occasionally like, usually around like 2 to 3 hours. The biggest concern for me, though, is the fact that I never really considered how long it would actually take me to get through Wizard City. I'm really suffering from distractions and streamer brain and stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to adjust to it a little bit better later on. But as it stands right now, I'm pretty sure I'll just have to play it by ear. Because planning out a schedule, ideally, I'd want to know how long it'll take me to get between areas. So I don't want to say like, oh, I'm going to have a 2-hour stream and then all of a sudden go to like 3 hours or something because... Oh, the Black Mantles got put in my deck. I have to take those out. Yeah, I don't want it to be like that because I prefer to just end it on like different milestones of what I accomplish. So like, oh, I finished this area, or oh, I did this thing. And so I have no idea how long it'll actually take me to do that. So I'm not entirely sure how to actually make a more official schedule right now. That's something I'll have to figure out. I think it's just something I'll have to do whenever I get a little bit more used to playing the game a little bit more efficiently. Let's see. Yeah, as it stands, even though it's been a little bit of slow progress, I am kind of glad that we're actually finishing Wizard City today. And also that I'm just doing all of the extra stuff, because the first time user experience has been a grab bag of various experiences. But overall, I'd say it's been pretty positive, in my opinion. So let's hear the history of magic itself.
Traditional theory holds that there are 2 broad categories of magic: elemental, fire, ice, storm, and spiritual, life, death, and myth.
Oh, it's the history of balanced magic, even though it just says the history of magic.
Legends of astral magic from ancient Celestia often complicated those old definitions, but there has yet to be physical evidence of the practice. It was was ultimately the discovery of balance magic on Krokotopia that upended the previous paradigms and introduced a composite sorcery that blended the powers of the elemental schools while also being able to enhance or debilitate spiritual powers. Today, balance is considered one of the core 7 schools of magic, but many institutions have yet to fully incorporate it into curricula.
Alright, cool. I'm not sure if that's actually new, or how long that's been around. Because I could have sworn the books were different before, but that could just be me misremembering it. Before I forget, I'll take out these black mantles because they are completely and totally useless to us. So, I'll just, oh, wait, that's right, there's teleporters. What am I doing? I'm remembering the, good old days, you might say, even though they're absolutely horrific to experience all the time. Hey, yeah, it has been slow work getting through Wizard City, and like I said, it's been fun, not to repeat myself too much. But because it's taking me so long, I really do feel like I might have to, oh, I had a mark set there. Use that. But yeah, because it's been kind of such slow work, I kind of feel like I should do the 2 streams a day, just so that way I can, do 2 shorter streams without, like, burning myself out constantly and having to, like, wake up super late in the day to get stuff done. Because there's a lot of art and stuff I want to do. I haven't quite figured out if there's going to be art streams. But I am definitely planning on starting up some projects, because I've recently had some pretty good ideas, I think. Now, whether or not I'm able to make those ideas a good reality is, well, that remains to be seen. But I am going to do my best on working on my art, because I have been kind of slacking on practicing it. Let's see if we can just grab this one really fast.
The original practitioners of death magic were shunned by their societies, written off and punished as plague carriers and spirit thieves. And it's true that many of ill intent found a school with such spooky spells thematically amenable. The worst such group was the cult of the Corrosive Chorus, a sect from ancient Azteca who loathed the Song of Creation and sought to unwrite it. They traveled across nascent skyways, summoning banshees and spectral skulls to scream a discordant melody that could unmake worlds. Some believe Bartleby himself intervened to stop them, cursing the death cult with eternal life, sealed forever in a soundproof prison.
Did you do that, Bartleby? Because that sounds pretty metal, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the lore of that definitely has to be new, because I doubt that they would have written about Azteca and Celestia way back in 2008. So it had to have been updated at some point. I'm not sure if it was done during the first time user experience update, though. Although, if it was done at any time, it was probably then. Let's see. So yeah. All that's left now is Colossus Boulevard, but then there's also Crab Alley. So, Colossus Boulevard, I'd say, is generally easier, so I think we'll just go with that.
The headmaster sent a wizard to aid us. We could really use your help. Strange creatures have taken over Colossus Boulevard. We don't know where they came from, but they eat everything in sight. We call them gobblers. I admire you wizards. My niece studies ice magic at Ravenwood, but I'm worried about her.
Yeah, what a loser.
She said she was doing some school project on Colossus Boulevard, but I don't know why she has to do it now. Would you go speak to her and see if she needs any help? Her name is Mindy Pixie Crown.
As we all know, anytime there's an ice wizard, they always need help with something. Actually, that's kind of a lie. Ice wizards.
Beware, young wizard.
Oh.
The street you now have acted can be more
Oh,
opponents
right,
at
that's
one
just, let's
time
worry about
compared to
the
amount of
201
players
thing.
participating in the battle. Be very careful.
Yeah, no. Maybe I'm giving ice wizards a little bit too much grief on the name of a joke. But let's see, I think Reshuffle is like a level 22 spell, so I can't learn it yet. I can learn Life Trap. You know, I'm not sure if I've ever actually considered how bizarre it is that Life gets one of its, like, main spells from this just random woman in Colossus Boulevard. That's just bizarre. Early Wizard 101, like, anything went as far as design was concerned.
That's so sweet of my uncle to send you. I'm so glad you came too.
Honestly, this area is so forgettable, and I've skipped through it so much, pretty much, that I honestly have no idea if any of this is actually new or not.
I've been doing some ice research for Professor Greyrose, but I had to stop. I really need your help.
The mic quality is pretty good, so I'm believing it's new.
This is horrible. First the gobblers showed up and started eating everything in sight, and then these evil snowmen? They're all over the place. We must get rid of them, but there are so many. Hey, I know. Why don't you defeat some of them and see if that will chase the rest away?
Yeah, this is definitely new, actually, now that I'm, like, vaguely remembering it. But it's also, basically identical. It's kind of why I was having trouble, because, you know, Triton Avenue was extremely different. Firecat Alley was extremely different. Cyclops Lane started off similar, but also became very different around the middle part. This one's starting off identical, though. So it is kind of interesting. I wonder if they did anything with Crab Alley, then. I mean, I wouldn't expect them to, but I mean, they already did change it that one time. I missed the Selena Gomez event, I'm gonna be honest. The Selena Gomez event was actually, like, kind of good. It was basically the same story, but instead of rescuing the king, instead you were rescuing Selena Gomez, and it actually had that Round and Round song, I think, was the one it was advertising when it came out. So it was like a weird lab, I guess. That's such a rare item, but I'm not sure if I have any accounts that actually have the t-shirt anymore. Because I'm pretty sure it didn't change the old ones. Pretty sure it just added in the new item. So it seems we have to get collector items at this point. Oh, you know what I never did? I never got Heartsteel off of my Storm Wizard. I knew I was forgetting something when I was setting this up. Oh, well, it's not like it's a requirement right now. I'll just do it next stream. I'll just have to actually remember at that time. Yeah, you know, playing through Wizard 101 again is all fun and games, and, you know, it's all nice and stuff. But I do kind of wish that I could just skip ahead to getting my shadow spells. Oh no, that's right, they start resisting balance here. Completely forgot about that. Which means we might want to go ahead and grab another death spell. This Banshee might be worth it in that case. Although I'm not entirely sure whenever we're going to get the 4-pip spell, because power pips are still too rare at this point to really use them. I can one-shot these ones, but it's more of a concern about the ones that are gonna come along later. I think what I'll do is I'll mark here, head over there, see if there's anything else I can really train, and then decide. Oh, right, I get Locust Swarm at this point. I forgot it was level 10. It's level 16 for Sandstorm. That would be the one we would actually end up focusing on. Yeah, Sandstorm, I mean, Locust Swarm, it's useless to us at this point. Sandstorm would be worth saving up for, though. Yeah, so that means we also get Banshee. And Banshee is... Let's see, the final boss of Colossus Boulevard is Balance, so I think we'll use Banshee there. but instead of scarabs, we'll use dark sprites. That seems like a good idea. That seems like it should be enough. Oh yeah, and I think there's also a life boss here.
Well, that didn't seem to make a dent in those gobblers at all. They're still eating the city.
So yeah, for the life and balance boss, I'll probably just use like Banshee.
Go speak with Professor Greyrose. Maybe she will know what to do. I'll try to keep their damage to a minimum.
Yeah, I probably should have waited a little bit. Because I knew that was coming up, I just didn't realize it would happen immediately. Like I said, it's been a while since I've actually gone all the way through Colossus Boulevard. More importantly, it's been even longer since I actually paid attention during it. So yeah.
Oh dear, I was afraid of that. It was an accident. I didn't mean to summon those gobblers, and those evil snowmen aren't doing a thing to help. They're actually causing more trouble.
Okay, so Cyrus had an evil bunny, which apparently messed up his summon. So are they gonna provide an alternate explanation as to why hers didn't work either?
The biggest problem with gobblers is that they're always hungry. Let's try brewing a potion to make them lose their appetite. The snowmen we'll deal with later. Here is a list of ingredients for the potion. Take it back to Minty Pixie Crown on Colossus Boulevard.
Can I just say that the whole gobbler thing has to be like one of the weirdest attempts at like preventing a retcon that I've ever seen in a video game ever?
A magic potion? Excellent idea! I'll begin working on this list she gave us.
Because first the gobblers are then revealed to be Alfoy, but then they neglected to realize that part of the lore of gobblers is that they're supposed to have left their homeworld for because witches kept showing up, apparently. And instead what they did was, so they fixed it in Caramel, which is the current final world. They decided that no, gobblers just say that Caramel is their homeworld, even though they're actually from Imperia, and the witches were not actual witches, so they could justify, you know, having this weird, very Willy Wonka-esque storyline for it.
I'll set up the cauldron for the potion here. Can you get the first ingredient? It's called stinkweed. You can find that growing right here in Colossus Boulevard. Go gather some for me.
Like, on the one hand, I do kind of have to give them credit for, like, actually, like, trying to, like, fix it, so, like, it didn't, like, completely break the lore that we'd already been given. But at the same time, I'm not sure why they couldn't just, like, not have the Alfoy be a thing. Because the whole thing about the Alfoy, right, was that caused, which is what ultimately caused the inconsistency, is that they could have just, you know, not made the joke about gobblers actually being, like, descended from, like, a very, like, smart and intelligent race. Like, that's, like, the joke, right? But they could have just, like, you know, just had, like, the gobblers be their own thing, and then just, like, not have the Alfoy be, like, that. Just have, like, another race, like the Nimbari or something. And they could have just said that, yeah, gobblers come from Caramel, and there are just witches there. But yeah, I guess I do have to kind of give them credit for even trying. But yeah, that was just a very bizarre way to handle it.
Woo! This stinkweed really does stink. I know I've lost my appetite.
I kind of want to actually, like, ask the people who were, like, writing Imperia if that, like, was just something that they legitimately just forgot and that's why they did it, or if there was, like, some sort of, like, because I'm not entirely sure how that mistake would even, like, really happen besides just, like, forgetting. And it becomes, like, very obvious, like, when you actually, like, think about it, if that's the case. But to give them credit, you know, maybe it wasn't like that. Maybe there actually was, like, some intention behind it. But it just, the way they did it makes them look bad. I kind of want to ask the people who are actually, like, writing it, like, what exactly was happening there.
That's all I need. I'll brew the potion now.
As I feel like thinking about, like, issues like that could very well help the writing quality in the future. Because, you know, especially with Lemuria being a literal mashup of previous worlds. It seems like if they're going to be drawing on the older unexplored lore to fix it, it really does need to be something that's like actually like thought about like more intensely.
Here's the first batch of potion, young wizard. Hopefully this will make the gobblers stop eating. While I'm making more, go beat some gobblers in combat and make them drink the stinkweed potion.
Although I guess realistically speaking, the majority of people just wouldn't care. You know, that's just like it. I guess the majority of people wouldn't care. So yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know. But yeah. Nope. Wait, these are gobbler scavengers, not gobbler scouts. Oh, I messed up. No, I messed up bad. How much would a dark sprite do actually? Because it could do a lot. So yeah. Let's see. We got a boost, and it's like minimum damage roll, so no, it did not kill them. I guess I'll have to ghoul the other one, and then try to dark sprite this one. Just to keep it like relatively simple. Let's see. Yeah, we'll ghoul this one. And then we'll dark sprite the other one. Because it kind of depends on if we drew dark sprite for it. Alright, nice. I mean, this entire fight is just a waste of time because I didn't actually need them. So, getting any amount of, getting more battles on the belt wouldn't hurt. Also just because, otherwise this stream probably won't be super long. Because I am probably just gonna end it, like, as soon as I finish it. Crab Alley and Colossus Boulevard, that is. So, I don't mind artificially extending it out. Wait, what? Those weren't Gobbler Scouts, though. So I guess any Gobbler counts?
All done? Excellent. Let's see if the potion had any effect.
I guess any Gobbler counts, though. Yeah, that's weird.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the potion didn't quite work. I don't want to bother the headmaster. I know. The Gobbler King lives in the large palace at the very end of the street. Maybe we can reason with him.
Good
I'll
idea.
try to brew a stronger potion. See if you can make a deal with the Gobbler King to stop eating and leave the city.
Alright, cool. Now let's just head over there. Okay, cool. Because we're in the ice street. You know, it just occurred to me, we don't have a life or death street in Wizard 101. I mean, in Wizard City, that is. Because this is the ice one, we have Firecat Alley and Triton Avenue, those are the elements. Then we have Cyclops Lane, which is myth. And then I guess Nightside could technically count as a death street, along with the dungeon. Sunken City, that's what it's called. Yeah, along with like Sunken City, I guess that could count. Should I do Sunken City? Maybe not right now. I feel like that'd be a little bit difficult to solo. For now. I think I might do that around the time of Krokotopia. Like when I get stronger, like level 20 gear, I might go back and do it. But yeah, as it stands, there's no life and none that I can really like say like, oh yeah, like if we like look at it in this way, then yeah, you could argue it's the life street. Unless you want to say like the commons itself is life, since it's like the center of attention. Here it is. Nice. Alright, well that's all the smiths, and now we're going to go back and get our training point. And then we also just need to grab from here, and we'll get apparently an Athame in a ring. I'm not entirely sure which ones they're going to give us. It's been a while since I've actually even bothered with this.
You'll have to get past me if you want to see the king.
Oh, wow. The way they handled the model is kind of bizarre to me. Oh, I forgot we have to fight this guy twice. Yeah, I forgot to put in Banshees in my deck. I'm probably not going to be able to win this. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to win this, huh? That's bizarre. I mean, that's not bizarre, that's awkward. What I was going to say. If I had put in Banshees, I probably could have won. If I had, like, replaced my Scorpions with Banshees. That is. 3 ghouls, 2 Banshees, I would have had lifesteal, and they would have had, and they would have had some major damage with it. Oh, that actually didn't do too bad of damage. We'll do a Dark Sprite on it. No, wait. Do an Imp. Higher chance to not fizzle. Oh wow, Locust Swarm? Oh jeez, this is gonna do a lot of damage. Your weight is actually less than I was expecting. Okay, let's see, what do we got, what do we got? I guess I could just use up my Dark Sprites. Because depending on how much damage they do, I'll know how what I actually have to do. Okay, they didn't do that much. Let's use this other one. So I think I'm going to need to heal, is the thing. Okay, yeah, we rolled very low on damage there. I think I'll need to do is I'll need to heal. I do really like this spell. It's way better than Pixie. Because it actually has like some relevance to how you actually play. You know, 1 pip heal for a pretty decent chunk of health is really good really early on. Okay, so we should be able to Ghoul and then Scorpion safely. Yeah, there we go. So we can Scorpion instantly next turn, and then the next turn after that we can Ghoul again. Yeah, so this is actually way easier than I was expecting. Which is nice. I like it when it's nice and easy to get through. Alright, there we go. We fizzled. We didn't. So yeah. We came out of it with almost full health too. Nice. Oh cool, we even got a pet drop. Nice. So now we just need to grab the history of ice magic.
In the first world, the children of Lady Nightstar, the grandmother Raven, battled constantly. Titans they were, embodiments of ice, fire, and storm. Their conflict shook the world, but by the time of the spiral, only their offspring remained.
Wait a minute.
In the first world, the children of
Lady Nightstar is the grandmother's Raven's actual name?
Titans. Giants were the descendants of the Ice Titan, who used his power to create frost castles from frozen clouds. Like their ancestor, they battled the dragons on the ground until the wars decimated both races. The giants retreated to the world now known as Grizzleheim, where the few who still remain rule the frigid realm of Wintertusk.
Nice. So yeah, that's all of our extra quests done for the rest of Wizard City. Means that all that's left is here. And crab out.
A tiny wizard. Hello, tiny wizard. Have you come to surrender your city? You want us to leave? Oh no! No, no, no! My people love it here. We shall call this city New Gobbleton. If you prove to be good servants, perhaps we shall let the tiny wizard stay in New Gobbleton. Here is my royal decree.
You pick up the royal decree to take back to Mindy Pixie Crown.
Alright, cool. So yeah, we'll just turn in these quests. Because I think it would be faster to walk back to Mindy Pixie Crown from the commons than it would be to try to teleport and then... Oh, I didn't even have a mark set, so yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Well, tarnation, you found them all! I'll find a good home for them, don't you worry. Here's a little reward for helping me out. You more than deserve it for all your assistance. Look me up if you ever wandered to Spiral.
Yep, sure thing. Every single time. I normally don't really bother with it a lot of the time, but yeah. This time around, I'm going to do it all. And great, we get to hear more of Newsboy.
You found the books on the ancient history of magic? Let me get my notepad out and tell me everything you learned.
A little newsy. I don't know why they changed him into this. He sounded cool before.
Wow, that's a lot. Gonna need a minute here, pal, to process all that. Okay, I'm good. But all the answers in those books just bring up more questions. Like, what happened to these titans? And what's with the sentient plants? You've seen them. The trees with the faces in Ravenwood. Every school has one. Except Death and Balance. But what do they do? What are they for? Why don't Death and Balance have one? People have a right to know. We need to get the straight dirt from the horse's mouth. Meaning, go ask all the trees themselves. While you do that, I'll study the books.
Okay, we've got a flawed citrine ring and a Fame of Wisdom, which is better than what I have. And this one is also better. Okay, that's actually pretty good, all things considered. And now this guy's going to tell us about Team Up. There's a tutorial tip log. Not bad. So, I have an extra training point, but I don't think I'm at a level that I can actually use it. I'm not sure if I should save it for death or what.
What are we, spell trees? Why, we are the offshoots of the great-grandfather tree. He who, with his sister grandmother Raven, sang the song of creation and wove the spiral into being. Life magic in particular resonates with that song, uses its chords and verses to stitch wounds and mend spirits, to heal a fragmented world. And the titans responsible for that sundering? They were lulled to sleep by Bartleby himself. May they sleep evermore.
The voice actor for this one did a really good job too. Like, that was actually like a very comforting voice. I really like it.
We spell trees aid in the invention of new spells and the crafting of treasure cards. I am the tree of myth. Mine is the burden to remember the stories of old heroes and monsters. It is from these tales that myth spells are born. Speak to me to learn recipes for myth spells. The other trees hold similar recipes for their own schools.
This one Ivan used to have a different voice too, although I'm not sure if it's the same voice actor, just doing a slightly different one or what.
What's cooking, wizard? Oh, I think it's me. I am raw fire, after all, undiminished by any contradictory forces. Huh? Oh, all magical schools have an opposite. A school to which they're vulnerable, but against which they're strong. Fire melts ice, but melted ice douses fire. Similarly, life and death contrast, as does the creativity of myth with the destructiveness of storm. balance. Yeah, I guess we do all sort of balance each other out. That's a good way to look at it, Wizard.
Yeah, sorry if I'm being a little quiet right now. I'm actually just kind of just absorbing all this, and also shifting around a little bit.
How long have we been here? Oh, as long as I can remember. I don't know if we are the first, but these are the only spell trees I've known. Well, except for Mortis, the spell tree of death. I hear he came from elsewhere, but I know not where. Alas, he is, perhaps, ironically, dead. Destroyed with the death school in Alistair's tantrum, so we cannot ask him.
Oh, so they think he's dead too. I'd always assume that they could, like, communicate with each other telepathically or something.
So, Wizard, Calvin told you about Mortis and that he came from elsewhere? But Blossom said we all came from Bartleby? Confused? Well, both are correct. Bartleby's roots stretch invisibly to every world in the spiral. And in any of those worlds, spell trees can grow. A balance tree? I've never met one. It's possible one is out there somewhere. You need only to look.
Overall, I do actually kind of like this new lore, and I like the way that it's kind of answering the questions. Because before, you really kind of needed to dig really deep into the game to actually find out anything about it. Because, you know, that's why the Spiral Compendium even existed in the first place. I've mentioned it before, but it's like a really long Google Doc. And it has pretty much every quote from, like, Wizard101 and Pirate 101 since they've existed. This one's actually doing a pretty good job explaining it. Because, you know, before, like, you'd have to, like, read all the books, and then you have to, like, pay attention, then you have to write it down, then you have to compare them. It'd be a whole thing.
You talk to the trees, they think the death tree is dead. There may be a world of balance trees. Myth is weak against Storm? What a scoop!
How did you not know Myth was weak against Storm? More importantly, I always assumed that it was because, like, Storm is like intelligence, it's like about inventiveness, but like Myth is about like creativity, so I thought it was like an intelligence versus like wisdom argument, I guess.
This will make for a great article on the history of magic. And don't worry, I'm happy to share a byline. What was your name again?
Like creativity is about things that like don't exist, whereas like intelligence is applying things that do, I guess.
Fantastic! Till next time, pal.
But I guess now they're just saying that Storm itself is just destructiveness, which I'm not sure why, because they were always very clear about the fact that it wasn't. Right, that it was actually like the school of like invention and creativity, and that's why Halston Baelstrom, the Storm Professor, is like an inventor and everything. Like Halston Baelstrom is actually like the Tony Stark of this universe. I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but he's like a rich, like, playboy inventor, if I'm remembering correctly. That's the lore I vaguely remember, although I'm not sure if it ever actually went that far with it. But he does have a killer suit and top hat, so I could believe it.
The Gobbler King wants us to surrender Wizard City? Big problem. Big problem. I can't believe the Gobblers are trying to claim Wizard City. We need to tell Headmaster Ambrose. Take the Gobbler King's royal decree to Headmaster Ambrose. See what he thinks we should do.
Is it still going to be written in crayons? I think it was like, like a picture of like a chicken drawn like with crayon in the original. If it's not that, I'm going to be mad. Like I'm actually going to be like, just a little bit upset about it. That's a really good line.
What? This decree doesn't even make sense. It's just pictures of ice cream and chickens drawn in crayon.
Oh, perfect.
Headmaster Ambrose shakes his head sadly.
I'm very glad they kept that in.
The gobblers may be a larger problem than we realized. I hate to ask, but you need to go duel some of them to test their strength.
Pretty basic, all things considered. I am glad they kept that line in. It was pretty much the best line of Wizard City. But yeah. Let's see, we need to defeat Goblet Gorgers. Do we need to defeat any of these? Nope, just Goblet Gorgers, Gluttons, and Munchers. Okay, cool. Okay, so Gobbler Scouters are not what I'm looking for. It's the one further up the street. Okay, cool. We only have to defeat 2 of each before. I vaguely remember, I think the old quest required like 3 of them a lot of the time, which was like a very awkward number. But if the main adjustment they made was just making it so that you only had to do 1 double battle for each type, that would be way better. I think after this battle I might actually have to do a quick BRB. I've been drinking a lot of a sparkling water today. And like it keeps building up. And I'm trying to ignore it because I kind of feel weird about, you know, doing a BRB this early on into a stream. But yeah. Let's see, what else? I feel like there's something I was thinking about earlier that I wanted to mention, but I can't quite remember what that is either. So I guess I'll just have to leave it for now. But yeah. Something that kind of confuses me, right, is like these gobblers are like kind of fat, right? Which that's like the main difference of them. I've always been confused about how red gobblers are supposed to work. Like, why are they red? And how are they red? It's not even like a skin color difference, right? Like, I'm pretty sure all of the Alfoy are like yellow. And then like, the gobblers become green. But then where did the red ones come from? Is it like a thing about like based on what they eat? Like flamingos? Like how when flamingos eat shrimp they turn pink? And that's why they're pink? I don't know. That would be kind of interesting though, because I think in Caramel they actually did have like those like bright orange ones and like the deep cherry red ones, and that was because they were like constantly being fed like a specific type of jam and like soda and stuff, so that could very well be it. Well, I have to wonder, why do the green ones eat them? Because they don't like eating broccoli or vegetables, so I'm not entirely sure. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick BRB, and then we'll continue with this quest. Let's throw this up. And... And we're back. I said this early in the stream, but it turns out I've actually been streaming for like 45 minutes already. Man, time keeps flying whenever I'm playing this game, it seems like. Well, time flies when you're having fun and all that. But also, 45 minutes, I'm still not done with this street. Man, I really am slacking. You know, it's just the... Oh, hey Sunloops. How's it going? But yeah, I am very much slacking in this game. Yeah, hi. How's it going? Welcome to my Wizard101 stream where I'm attempting to finish Wizard City, which normally takes like, you know, like 4 hours. And now it's taking me like, I think I'm up to like 11 at this point. I have to say, I love that Zhongli emote. Oh, but yeah, 45 minutes down already. Looks like tonight might actually end up being like a 3-hour stream though. At least I was thinking I was just gonna come in here like and do like a 2-hour one, and then try to wake up earlier so I can do that more early afternoon stream I was talking about. But there's no rest for me. No rest for me. It's only ever gonna be me staying up until like 6 AM and then I'm gonna end up just streaming as soon as I wake up and then just working for 11 hours. Even speeding through. Not really, actually. I'm not like joking either. Like you really could usually get through this area pretty fast. It's actually pretty interesting though because they've added a lot of content, so I don't feel too bad about it. You know, doing all the side quests and stuff adds time. Yeah, it adds time, but it's also like that they just seem to have added like at least like 10 extra quests to this place, which I do like. Although I just have to remember because I had to download the VOD because I now have to make like a bug report or something because I'm not sure if you were there for that, but I ran into like a pretty serious like glitch that happened because of all these play as your pet quests. I have so much I need to catch up on after I wake up tomorrow. I've got to work on my art, and then I also have to maybe work on some other content besides just streams. What happened? So there are quests where you play as your pet. It's a pretty new mechanic, and by new I mean like 2 years old, which considering this game is like over a decade and a half at this point. No, it's not over a decade and a half, it's almost a decade and a half. It's like 13 at this point. And so I'm not sure how much it's been bug tested, but I was going through a teleporter and as a pet, and then what happened was the entire game just started freaking out. Like, the game didn't seem to know, like, what was happening anymore. So, my pet, just, like, faded out of existence. And then, like, the game just started, like, spinning around, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, it was a very bizarre experience. What was even more bizarre at the time was the fact that, like, I couldn't figure out what was happening, so I kept, like, trying to press buttons. And then I ended up pressing one of the pet buttons. I think it was like the dancing button to make your pet do like a little dancing animation, which then proceeded to teleport me into an entirely different area. And then the game just like started like glitching out and like everything was invisible, and I ended up having to like restart the game just to like get it to stop. So yeah, apparently there's something that happens whenever you try to teleport as a pet. So I'm gonna clip that out and just like tweet it at King's Isle like, hey, what was this? That just sounds totally messed up. Oh, you missed a lot. The first stream especially, there was so much just like bizarre, like weirdness that was happening. Because like another one of the big things we encountered was the voice actors. All of these new dialogue bits that they added. they have new voice actors for it, you know, new voice lines. It was a whole update to the Wizard City. But they didn't all remove all of the old voice lines either. So you go from like the character sounding like, remember one of them was like, it went from being like a Texan grandpa to like a British person. At least making some fun content with you. Yeah. I've been having a good time. I've been having a very good time, for being honest. Even the bad stuff's been pretty good. Immersion. Well, it is magic. Which would probably be the best response they could give, frankly. Like, oh yeah, by the way, it's just a side effect of like magic in the air. I don't know, stop asking. Can't switch from Yeehaw to Sir Britain. Well, you can, because it did. I should actually clip that out. I should clip out all the sections where that happened and just like make a compilation of that and tweet that to them too. Because, you know, they really need to be called out on their laziness and mediocrity with a lot of that stuff. But yeah, I've been having a good time. Yeah, now it's time to talk to Merle Ambrose. Old grandpa himself.
Good. Now that we know how strong the gobblers are, I have a plan. Please deliver this letter to Mindy Pixie Crown for me. Your hard work will pay off, I promise.
Headmaster Ambrose hands you an official-looking document.
Okay, cool. Glad to hear you've been having an overall good time with your playthrough. Oh yeah, I always have a lot of fun whenever I'm playing Wizard101. It's one of the main reasons why I wanted to, you know, get back to it. Bugging off. Oh yeah. It's a shame to see how badly they've, like, slaughtered some sections of this game. You know, I have a lot of nostalgia for Wizard City, so coming back to some of this stuff just threw me for a loop. But overall, I still really like this game, so it's always fun to come back to. But if I'm being a little bit honest, I do kind of just want to get to the actual playthrough part of this, where I'm going to be using just the shadow spells.
Mindy Pixie Crown reads the official-looking document.
But that, at this rate, that's going to be like a month or two from now, so I've got a lot of work cut out for me.
I think this plan will work. This plan calls for challenging the Gobbler King's two closest advisors, Baron Greebly and Baron Rotunda.
Oh, a month, at least, I would say. Because this game has multiple arcs. This is the first world, in the first arc, and there are 5. It's taken me 3 streams. And this is going to be the third one, where I'm going to try to beat just this world. So we're talking like a month, because we get the shadow spells at the very end of the second arc. Now, that's just to get them. Once we actually start using them, it's probably going to take me like 3 months to be able to get past everything else that's left over. And that's only 4 more worlds. Guess time to strap and get some popcorn. You want to mark it down on your calendar. That'd be a smart idea. Like, a month and a half from now, just like, give or take. Just mark it down on your calendar to make sure you make plenty of popcorn for it.
Dueling isn't my strength, so you're the only one who can do this, young wizard.
Because one of the funny things is, when we get the shadow spells, the end boss of that world is a 4v1 for us, where it's going to be against 4 opponents at once, and the shadow spells are very, very slow. Just mark the entire January. Is that good enough? Oh wow, yeah, that's right, January is like 2 months from now. Man, I can't believe 2021 is almost over. But yeah, that's a good idea.
They're each hiding out in towers, one at each end of the street. Defeat them and see what the Gobbler King has to say then.
The one stream you really want to strap yourself in for, though, I'd say, is going to be that 4v1. Because that is very likely going to be, not even just because I lose, but just because of how slow shadow spells actually are to use. That fight could very well be like 200 turns, and that could very well take up like the entirety of the stream length itself. So even if like I do a perfect fight and I just win first try, it would very well be like a couple hours long itself. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's very Monka indeed. I didn't picked this out because it was going to be easy. I picked it out because it was going to be hard.
You look like you'd make a good stew. Get over here.
But just remember, there's a reason we're doing this. And that's because the worse it is, the more I get to call out the developers of this game for making them terrible. And the more evidence I'll have that they screwed up. And I'll be like, hey, fix it. I'm gonna make a big expose about it too. Nah, an expose is an over-exaggeration. I'm just gonna say, hey, guys, you can come and check out my thing. I did a thing. The secret plan here. I've never hidden it. I've never hidden this secret plan. It's never been a secret plan. That's always been my intention, and I'll tell everybody about it. You're gonna write a memoir about it? I'm not a very good writer, if I'm being honest, Sleeping Owl. Welcome, by the way. I'm not a very good writer, but what I am pretty good at, I think, is speaking. And that's what I'm gonna do with it. Yes, welcome, welcome. This is just me gathering up video evidence for my plan. Which is basically just gonna be like, oh yeah, shadow spells are really cool, King's Isle, please don't leave them abandoned, please buff those instead of, I don't know, like another Grandmaster level spell. Please stop putting stuff in at level 45, please support Shadow. I love Shadow, I love how it looks, I kinda like how it plays, even though it's slow. It just deserves more love. I can't believe the fact that shadow damage itself is a stat that only exists on the level 100 hats. And that's it. It's like 6 pieces of equipment, and that's the only bit of shadow damage that you can even get in the game. It's just not fair. Shadow deserves better. Back at it again to the torture. That's not torturous yet. It will be torture. Later. How are you doing? I am doing great. I mean, it's pretty late for me, as usual, and I'm thinking I'm going to be doing 2 streams a day, most likely. One earlier in the afternoon as well. I tried doing that today, and it's worked out pretty well. So, I've had an overall pretty productive day. You stream late. What time is it for you? It is 1 a.m. for me. Yeah. Stream's been going pretty well, but also my day has been going pretty well. How are you doing? Let's see. Which one is it? Oh, cool. We already have a side quest.
I've been waiting for a shipment of goods from Kirby Longspear, my delivery man. The last I heard, Kirby was further down the street in the next park area. I can't reach him in this mess. Would you go find him and see what's happened to my shipment? I'll pay you for your time.
Oh, wow. 25 whole gold pieces. That sounds about right. I'm glad you're streaming late. You're also a Nightbird. Yeah. I wouldn't say I started out as one. It was more just like I was thinking like, day felt long, work wasn't fun. But yeah, for customer service. Oh, you're a customer service person. Oh. Like retail or like phone customer service? Either one has to suck either way. But I used to do retail too. Or retail. I'm not sure if you did it too. But yeah, I'm very familiar with how long those days can actually get. Especially because I used to constantly get scheduled for doubles and stuff. I'd be asked to do openings and closings and everything else.
Thank goodness someone found me. I'll bet Kazul is steaming. Please, I need your help. Those gobblers stole my shipment. After they ate a handful, they went straight for me. Please, help me. I promised to deliver those goods to Kazul, but the barrels have rolled everywhere. Will you gather up as many barrels as you can and bring them back? If you do, I'll share my profits with you.
Yeah, well, hopefully. You can have some fun here and just have some time to relax, you know? This is going to be a pretty casual stream overall. It's more that you provide a service. You're a tattoo artist. Wow. That's actually super impressive. Is tattoo artist something you actually need to be like certified for? Is there like a certain kind of permit for it? I've always been kind of curious how those shops actually function, because I doubt that tattoos are something that like you'll be getting a lot of business for. I've never had one personally. I'm not sure I ever would. I'm not sure how much like you make off of it. You know, like I'm not sure if it's like a lawyer type situation where like you get paid a lot of money but have like only a few customers, or if there are just way more people getting tattoos than I think. Yeah, no. You're providing people a service. That's right. And also you're an artist. I respect artists too, because it takes a long time to actually get good at it. You know, you have to overcome a lot of little humps in terms of like learning the skills in order to be able to do it properly. Depends on the country, state, or province. In Canada, it's barely regulated, but in some states in the US, you need a permit.
Ah, you found my barrels. Now, if the gobblers would just stay away from them. The evil snowmen are eyeing my shipment of sugar. It's not because they have a sweet tooth. They just worry that they may be on the menu if the gobblers get hungry. They know gobblers would take sugar over snow any day.
Yeah, no, that does seem about right, actually. I guess it's just sort of surprising that's so, either restrictive or laissez-faire, depending on, like, where you go.
But I need to deliver that sugar. The children would be disappointed without their cookies. Would you battle a few of those evil snowmen and chase them away? Then I can deliver the goods to Kazel.
Oh, that's very wholesome. Making sure the kids get their cookies. This guy's respectable. But yeah, no, it is pretty interesting. Let's see. These ones, but then we also have to defeat that guy. So I think I'll head back to the entrance and then teleport over to there, and then I'll just circle back around to beat Kirby again. That seems like a pretty solid plan. Okay, let's see. Overall, yeah. This stream is just going to be pretty chill, I think. Mostly just because it's only like a small amount of stuff that we actually need to get done before we are ready for Krokotopia for the next stream. So it's mostly just catching up to where I actually wanted to be. And around like when I ended my first stream. Office Boulevard should take like another 30 or so minutes, but then we're also going to do Crab Alley. Which, if you've never seen Crab Alley before, specifically some loops I'm thinking of, you'd probably find it pretty funny. And it's just a very bizarre place to go. Speaking of, I was mentioning it earlier. For being an older player, I do really like Krokotopia, probably the only one though. I definitely see that there's people who like Krokotopia. I used to like it a lot too, but more in recent times, Dragonspire would have to be my favorite world, personally. Just because I've always kind of liked the aesthetic of it. I like the aesthetic and I like the music. It feels very climactic, which is more than I could say for like, actually no, I'm not sure it's more than I could say. I'd say King Zal has always done a pretty good job of having the final world at least be pretty climactic. Although it was also a bit more interesting, I guess I'd say, because Morganth's final dungeon was a bit segmented, and so was the Husk. But the Great Spire is a pretty well interconnected area. So it definitely felt like a epic thing. But yeah, what was I saying? Alright. We're gonna be heading to Krokotopia, starting I think in next stream. So be sure to catch that when you can, or if you can. Because I actually like Krokotopia a lot too, and I think there's a lot to say about it. But yeah, what I was also going to say was, oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. I already figured out the strategy I wanted to do. I think it's this one. And it's... Nope, this is the wrong Baron Tower. Would it be this? Yeah, it will be this. Okay. Being an older player, I'm not sure if anyone else remembers this, but I do remember vividly the Selena Gomez quest, back when that's what Crab Alley actually was. And I've never really liked going back to Crab Alley ever since then. Just because, you know, if you can't do the Selena Gomez quest, what's really the point?
You've come to take away my treats? I can't allow that. To battle!
It's kind of weird to think how big Wizard101 used to actually be, where they would actually have, you know, connections with companies like Disney and stuff. It's just bizarre to think about how much it's actually changed. The Selena Gomez quest, it's really funny. Come through Disney. Yep, it was all about promoting, I think, that specific song that they wanted. Because yeah, I think it was also because of Wizards of Waverly Place, that show that she used to act in. And she was like the main character, actually. But yeah, that was a really good quest. Nowadays they changed it just to be about crabs. Which, you know, crabs are cool, I guess. But nothing can live up just to the sheer meme potential of hearing Selena Gomez surrounded by these weird high-pitched crabs singing round and round nonstop. This guy is pretty annoying to deal with generally, I'd say. Just because ice enemies in this part of the game are super tanky. Yeah, I've never really been the biggest fan of Colossus Boulevard or Crab Alley. I've always just liked going straight to Krokotopia. And like, only occasionally will I come back to these side areas. I'll have to say the best, and the world I'm looking forward to the most before we actually get the shadow spells will be Celestia. As I was mentioning this in another stream, but the biggest issue with Celestia is that there's so many balance enemies. I'm kind of curious to see whether or not my preparations will actually have been enough to allow me to get through it easily. Oh cool, got a little amulet. Does that not show the thing? Oh, because of the storm shield. Oh, that's weird. It doesn't show what spell it gives you anymore. That's kind of weird. Okay, now we need to talk to the Gobbler King. Never done Celestia, but so far, as stupid as it sounds, your favorite world is Pixar Academy. I'd actually agree with that. What's the actual name of the world? I'm having a little bit of trouble remembering. It's something like, Wisteria. That's the name. Yeah. Wisteria is very cool looking, in my opinion. I have to say that's my personal favorite part about it. Would be just how cool it looks. Gonna pack Banshees for this boss. And another ghoul. Yeah, but I could see that. Wisteria actually is a pretty funny world, too. I'd say it's pretty well written overall. And it just looks really cool. I found the idea of actually like seeing the other schools, like the other magical schools, like in actual practice is kind of interesting. Because they get mentioned early on in like a book. And you never actually hear what any of these other curriculums of other schools are. If anything, I'd have to say it's just kind of disappointing that you never really go back to Asteria after that point. I feel like there's potential to like have like a separate side world for it, and just like go back there for like some end game content or something. Maybe get like an actual spell from the world that isn't from a pay-to-win pack. Because, you know, Grizzleheim got a lot of love like that. Yeah. So, if you've never done Celestia, have you just beaten Arc 1 or something? It kind of helps to know, just so I can be sure not to spoil too much. I'm trying to keep this somewhat beginner friendly. Oh, nice. Or have another tournament style quest? Yeah. Mysterio is actually done very well. I also like that's how they introduced the idea of the cheat system to new players. Oh, you're at Dragonspire? Oh. Yeah, well, good luck. Dragonspire is kind of a slog, especially if it's your first time going through it. It's kind of hard to adjust to all the weaknesses and stuff. As far as Wisteria goes, it was actually one of the better done worlds, though, in my opinion. Mostly just because you have not just the tournament, which is a pretty cool concept, but also they were introducing cheating bosses at the time, and so having an entire world based around a bunch of magical hacks who don't actually know how to do magic, and then saying like, oh yeah, this is cheating and this is how it works. It was also really smart from like a game design perspective. Yeah, slowly but surely. Yeah. I did that recently. That was my last wizard. Thankfully, you're coming in after the Orthrus buff, so it shouldn't be too difficult for you. Just trust in the power of Orthrus, and you'll do fine. Oh wow, I am actually almost dead. I wasn't even paying attention to my HP, and I am probably gonna die. This is concerning. Should I go for it again? No, why not? Fortune favors the bold. There we go. Perfect. Unless this doesn't kill it. Which it didn't. Okay. Yeah, I might very well be dead. Go for a ghoul. Come on. Minimum damage roll. Oh, just barely. Well, that's embarrassing. Now, go right back in and continue like nothing happened. Guess nothing did happen. Nobody saw anything. Let's see. I'll just go right off the bat with a scorpion so his power pip isn't wasted. Oh, cool, we got a max damage roll that time. I wasn't expecting his resist to be that high. I forget exactly what it was. Or if that scorpion had killed, it would have been good. I should have just used a ghoul after it fizzled. Let's see. I think I'll do this. I'll go for the Banshee instead. kind of a shame that only this early in the game is actually the only time where you can actually get some amount of use out of a secondary school spell. Because, you know, later on in the game, obviously, you kind of have to focus on your own school. But I do like having this pet because it gives me enough universal damage to do a pretty decent amount with every school I use. At least for now. Oh, you spent some points to get Faint, or whatever that death trap is? That is correct. Balance Blade is given to me for free, and Hex will be too, but that's only 30%. Faint, however, is going to be our absolute lifeblood of this playthrough, because 70% is a lot to get.
Ah, the little wizard is back. Are you ready to surrender now?
The main things you're going to be focusing on are sort of the general spells that you want to train up to, which are going to be Life to Satyr, Ice to Tower Shield, and then Death to Faint. That's sort of like a general strategy for doing it. Say they're worth doing on your myth? Oh, it's worth to take Faint on any character you're soloing with. It's honestly probably the only one that's actually like 100% guaranteed to be good. Because Tower Shield is like pretty decent overall. But it's kind of pointless to cast because all it really does is add extra turns to the fight, and it doesn't really get you any closer to winning. And Satyr is only good if you have a Life Mastery amulet. So Death to Faint is particularly helpful because it's basically free damage against bosses, right? You throw it down once and you take 30% extra damage, but then you don't have to spend 2 turns worth of blading, right? So yeah, that's the general idea behind it.
You tell the Gobbler King about your battles with Barons Greebly and Rotunda.
What? You defeated them? I find that hard to believe. I'll have to send someone to find out if what you say is true or not.
Just as the Gobbler King is getting ready to call, a messenger breaks into the room.
Sir, the 2 barons have been defeated by a student wizard. What shall we do?
Oh dear. What you said is true. Then that means New Gobblerton, Wizard City, is yours. Spare me and my people, wizard. We mean you no harm. I ask that we are allowed to stay here. Our old home was filled with witches, and we are too scared to go back. I promise we will not eat so much. You have my word.
Yeah. If you haven't trained up to Faint already, I'd highly recommend doing it. Because it's very worthwhile to invest into. Because it makes a lot of the fights, which might take a long time. Life spell I mentioned? Oh, it's just a basic heal. It just does a lot of healing for pips. Satyr. S-A-T-Y-R. It's like the Faint equivalent for life training. It just does 860 healing for 4 pips. It's basically just a better version of the free pixie spell you get. Just like 2 more pips for like over double the healing. That's only really worth it because 4 pips is a lot if you have a life mastery. So what I normally recommend doing is just doing Death to Faint and then just throwing down Faint on any bosses you fight and then just Orthrusing. Because usually a blade and an Orthrus will be enough to kill the minions at any point in the game, but usually the boss will require a Faint or 2, plus whatever blades you stacked on to kill the minion as well. So that's pretty much how the entire game works.
With those snowmen gone, I think I can make a run for it and deliver this special sugar to Kazel. Thanks. Ah! I could make a run for it alone, but not carrying that barrel of sugar. The gobblers might take a bite out of me while I'm trying to get to the sugar. And I'm not all that sweet. Would you deliver a barrel for me? If those gobblers mess with you, you can mess with them right back.
I'm gonna actually show off a lot of the utility spells I'm gonna end up using. Because I feel like that's also a pretty good idea to discuss the strategy. Satyr. Oh, your French brain was overheating? Oh yeah. So French, because you know about Canada. Are you like from like Quebec or something, or whatever French Canada is? I don't know much about Canada.
Amazing, young wizard. You have brought peace with the gobblers. You've done a great job. Be sure to tell Headmaster Ambrose what the Gobbler King said. Now I can get back to my project.
Yep. Oh well, okay. Yeah, a surprising amount of people I've met on Twitch are actually from Canada. I thought it was mostly like Americans who use Twitch, but maybe that's just me thinking that. Yeah, no, it is kind of interesting. Yeah, I'll try to explain whenever I can. It actually is kind of important to note what I'll be using, because there is going to be a lot of different strategies involved for different kinds of fights.
Ah, my barrel of sugar. Just imagine if the gobblers had gotten hold of this. Thank you so much.
So, let's see, what did we get? We got this thing, and that, which is worse than what we already have. So we just need to head back to the commons. Are there any quests here, or not? I think I'll just ignore Quebec, home of poutine and syrup and ketchup chips. Ketchup chips. Ketchup chips. Like, okay, you're going to explain to me what those are, because that could be any number of things based on the name. That could be, like, potato chips that are, like, ketchup flavored. Or they could be, like, because British people call chips, or fries chips. They call French fries chips. So it could be ketchup with fries. Or it could be, like, little pieces of ketchup that have dried and then chipped off. Hence, chips of just pure ketchup. I know that last one is a little bit weird, but I don't know what Canada's like. I don't know what you people get up to. Oh yeah. So, generally speaking, oh hey, that's right, she's giving us the gardening quest. I think I'll do those off stream because they're not really important. Yeah, this is it. This is the Fort Appeal. Like ketchup flavored potato chips like Doritos, Lay's, and Pringles. Ketchup flavored Lay's sounds like they'd be kind of good. Pringles, I feel like those could maybe work, but Doritos just sound gross. Corn and ketchup just sounds gross. Is it gross? Let's see. Okay, yeah. So, there are actually a lot of spells, generally, I'd say, that are kind of worth getting. So, from pretty much every school, we're going to want to grab these shields, and we're also going to want to grab Satyr at some point eventually, because that's kind of the best heal we can get access to as a non-life. There's also the balance overtime heals, but those are not as good as a straight up, almost 1000 HP heal. I'm telling you, ketchup Doritos are the bomb. It's definitely different, but you adore them. I would probably have trouble even finding them in order to be able to try them out, but I'll take your word for it, if nothing else. Yeah, Ether Shield. So yeah, basically we're going through every school and just going up to like whatever their shield is, just so that way we can get access to the two 70% shields, because those are generally pretty helpful. Just being able to reduce damage by as much as possible will help with a lot of strategies, but also as a balance we do get access to these. So those also help. Let me see, are there any? Because they also added a few for like other schools. Yeah, so they added more level 40 plus spells to all the teachers as well. Doesn't look like any of them will be helpful for us though. So yeah, you have that Life to Satyr one, and then you have obviously the more notable one, which would be this Tower Shield, of course. I feel like Tower Shield is pretty overrated, frankly. I feel like it's actually not as good as like a lot of people say it is. But yeah, both Satyr and Tower Shield are probably not actually worth training in my opinion, because usually you want to use as many strong attacks as quickly as possible. So yeah, thankfully we'd be able to get Thermic Shield pretty quickly too. Do the bounce shield and 7% shield stack when you get attacked? Yes. Any shield that is not the same will stack much in the same way that any blade that isn't the same will stack. So like, if I cast an elemental shield, and then I cast a tower shield, and then I cast a specific shield, it will be reduced by over 100% damage. So it will go down by 180%. Now, I don't think that negates it entirely to 0. I'm not entirely sure how the damage rules actually work. But yes, all shields do in fact stack. Which is kind of the reason why I'm saying like it's actually not worth really using them. Because generally you could only throw down 1 shield per turn. And so if they hit you once, that's it. And so you've essentially just wasted 2 turns to take damage if you throw down 2 shields, right? In order to reduce damage by over 100%. You'd have taken 2 turns to still guarantee taking damage, when you probably could have killed it in 2 turns, if that makes sense. Yeah, so Feint is the most important thing to grab, I'd say, for any wizard, though. Because Feint is just overpowered. Like, there's pretty much no reason to not use it at any point available to you. Can I train? No, I need to wait until level 16. Yeah, so generally speaking, it's actually kind of weird that Tower Shield is technically, hypothetically on paper better, but in actuality, Elemental Shield and Spirit Shield are actually better than Tower Shield. Because it puts down multiple shields, and especially in Arc 1, enemies will use more than one type of element. So if the enemy uses, you know, more than one attack of different elements. So you could Feint, Balance Blade, Fire, Ice, Storm Blade, and go for Hydra. Yes, you could. I think only the first hit will be affected by Feint. That's kind of an issue with multi-hit attacks and Trap. And traps, because traps only apply to the actual first hit of the attack. Blades kind of affect the attack before it's sent out. Traps affect the hit that happens. So if all the traps are taken up by the hit, it would be like the Feint would cause like the first hit, which I think is fire. So you'd have a very strong fire hit. But then the storm and the ice hit won't have that 70% buff. So yeah, but you could do that. You could Feint, Balance Blade, Fire, Ice, and Storm Blade and go for a Hydra. Yes, that is entirely possible. Those do all stack together. And so that's basically what we're going to be doing whenever we get the shadow spells. We're going to be throwing down a bunch of feints and traps and stuff. And then we're going to cast our thing and cast blades. And then those blades will continue to buff us up, and then we'll hit, and then hopefully that kills everything. It's basically the same playstyle, it's just much more drawn out and difficult.
My plan worked. Oh, that's excellent news.
But that's a pretty decent amount of time in the future still.
You tell Headmaster Ambrose what the Gobbler King said about their home world.
My. I certainly don't want to force them to go back to a world where they aren't welcome.
More than likely, we're also going to be grabbing a few other spells, like the lore spells, which we'd have to grind Lore Master for.
Very well. We will let them stay on Colossus Boulevard. It appears we have new neighbors.
Because a lot of the lore spells actually do have very useful utility as well. Oh, okay, this happened again. Oh, there we go. That fixed it. It would fix itself. Look. Yeah, so like by the end of the game, right, as a myth, once you unlock blade enchantments, you basically do enchanted blade, regular blade, item card blade, and then you'd hit with Orthrus, and that should hypothetically kill most things, but against bosses you'd be like enchanted feint and then regular feint. And then if your damage is good, that's it. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through all of these. I think they actually are called electives. Yeah, they said it was electives. So actually I just refer to as electives in this. I'm not sure if I'll do all of those in this stream, because despite them being in Wizard City, they're like completely useless to us. So they pretty much just add time. So I think I will just skip over those, because I don't believe there are any other actual quests in Wizard City. I might just do those off-stream, because there's nothing really new to be gained there. And anything that I could mention that might be good from them, I could also just say it. Like, you know, fishing, you can get this battle narwhal mount. You know, pets, you could breed a really strong pet. I can explain all those things separately. How do you get enchant cards? You have to keep going, basically. You get the very first attack enchant cards, like, I'm not sure if I have any in my... Yeah, you get like this kind of card in Celestia. And then by around the end of Arc 2, you'll get cards that can enchant your blades to do 10% more. And you can get ones that will do your traps 10% more. Basically, you just have to keep playing the game. And it'll sort of start to fall into place. But the strategy applies. So if you don't have those enchants now, you would just play that way, but just not include the enchants.
The storm mill is in trouble, and I need your help. Something strange is going on down below us, and we don't know what.
So like when I went up against Malastare, right? What I ended up doing was I bought treasure cards instead. So I used an item card feint, I used a regular feint, and I also used a treasure card feint on Malastare. And then I did a regular Myth Blade, I did a treasure card Myth Blade, and I did an item card Myth Blade, and I attacked Malastare with that, with Orthrus, and it worked. It's the same concept, no matter what point the game you're at. You just need to find ways to up your overall damage.
You might not know this, but we collect magical lightning here and store it in the storm batteries buried far below the mill. The storm batteries are in tunnels that were once beneath Triton Avenue, but now they're located right off Crab Alley.
Oh yeah, but by the way, the enchant cards do cost training points to get. You might already be expecting that, but I'm gonna say you might want to save up like 3 or 4 trading points in order to make sure you get all the enchantments you need.
I need your help to take a look down there and see what can be done.
Because they are very important for being able to solo through a lot of Arc 2.
Go to the edge of the river, near the anchor rope, and jump down to Crab Alley. Find Herman. He might have an idea about what's going on down there.
Alright, here we go. Crab Alley. We're gonna go talk to some crabs.
This looks like the spot. Next stop, Crab Alley.
Crab Alley. Hate this place. We're gonna go there anyway.
Welcome. It is good to see a wizard in these strange times. I'm happy to see you. Everything is topsy-turvy.
He's so animated, then he just like immediately slops over into like this dead position. What the heck is this? It's so awkward looking.
King Thermidor had just returned from his world tour when we awoke one morning to find a breach in our river wall.
Like his energy level just seems to like drop instantly like a sack of hot garbage.
The king
It's so weird
went
looking.
into the breach to investigate, and he came back in the company of Riverclaws. He's been acting very strangely ever since. Now Riverclaws are strutting around like they own the place.
It's so weird looking. Like he looks like he's sedated right now.
The king
And
had
like
a
he
falling out
immediately
with
perks
his
right back up.
advisor, Sir Thomas Cromshell, and now Cromshell is locked in the White Tower.
This is almost comedic. Like it's actually really funny.
Could you talk to Sir Thomas in the White Tower? The tower is locked, so you'll need a key. One of those Riverclaw guards may have a key. You'll have to defeat one and take it.
He looks so dead inside too. What is up with his appearance? I guess he's like supposed to be old. But why do like his eyes just like completely sag down like that? It's so weird looking. Let's see, we'll switch back over to our balance focused one. Our more equal balance ones, because they are life enemies. Oh, that's right. This is another reason why I don't like Crab Alley. Look at how much HP they have. 345, that's a lot. He'd be a SpongeBob character. He is kind of a SpongeBob character, actually. This entire section is just like vaguely SpongeBob reminiscent. Especially after Selena Gomez got removed. Oh, but now that kind of makes me want to... like a Selena Gomez and SpongeBob crossover. That would actually be kind of funny. Like SpongeBob and his high-pitched voice going like, "Look, Patrick, it's above, like it's like the surface world. A celebrity Selena Gomez, and she's here to sing for us." That sounds funny. These guys are kind of derpy looking. They do like, they do look like something you'd see like standing up to the salty spittoon from SpongeBob 2. Like these would be like the bouncers going like, "How tough are you?" Yeah, all these things have just so much HP. And you don't really have a good option right now. Which is why I normally save a lot of Wizard City stuff until after Krokotopia. Because by the time you get to Krokotopia, you're going to have access to Sandstorm. So you actually have access to your AoE. Go for a quick ghoul. Let's get some health back. Alright, nice. Got a lot of HP back from that too.
You find a key marked with the image of a white tower.
While we're here, we also want to grab all this kelp. Because for some reason, something that you can craft later on in the game uses a lot of kelp for some reason. And it's actually one of the harder reagents to get, because you can't really get it anywhere. Like, you can pretty much only get it from here in Celestia, and you'll rarely ever find it in any, like, high quantities in the bazaar. I don't even think you can buy it, either. Like, even if you wanted to go, like, the pay-to-win route and just, like, pay actual money to skip ahead over time.
Get them!
Like, because they have these reagent bundles, and I don't think... oh wait, no, they do have kelp. Never mind. Yeah, so if you feel like paying like $5 to get just enough to craft one thing, then yeah, you can do that with real money. Thanks, King Zao. Really looking out for the play race. What the heck? These guys used to have like 400 HP. Why are they down to 120? That's enough for me to one-shot like any 2-pip spell. Yeah, I almost one-shot him with the weakest 1-pip spell too. Probably not the weakest. Maybe Frost Beetle actually is slightly weaker. Okay, cool. So this will be really easy, actually. Yeah, I did almost double his HP. And that was with like a 50% resist, probably. Or no, it'd actually probably only be like 25 in that case. Let's see. Well, either way. It looks like they actually nerfed some parts of Crab Alley, so hopefully it might actually take that long. Alright, here we go.
How good it is to see you! An ominous current wends its way through Crab Alley. The king, he changed after the expedition beyond the river wall. When I offered my counsel, the king had me locked up. I beg you to find Captain Jonah and see if he can explain the king's current state of mind.
Now you see, this guy is 100% a SpongeBob character. Like, he even looks like a weird, pudgier version of Mr. Krabs. Take that out. We'll put another balance blade so we can stack them up together. Anything to buff our drains at this point would be very helpful. Because it does seem like we're going to end up using death attacks while we can for a pretty decent amount of time.
What's this? There's a curfew on by royal decree of the king. Guards, arrest this wizard.
Okay, cool. We have a tower captain and a royal guard. Okay, yeah, these guys have more in line with what I was expecting. 240, 250, that sounds about right. Okay, so what should I do? I should probably just go for a scorpion hit. If we get lucky with a high damage roll, it should one-shot him. The other guy will probably have to do 2 attacks on. Okay, let's see what we can do. We might Dark Sprite. Oh. Yeah, if only we had Scorpion in hand, we would have been able to use that immediately. Oh, well, that's kind of a waste. Okay, so we'll just have to balance blade into a pool. We should get some HP back from that. Should be enough at that point for me to get like 2 health wisps, and I'll be back to full. And I'll just skip using the power pipe on the scorpion and just go straight into the pool. Okay, hopefully it works this time. Yeah. Alright. I'm not actually sure I remember how long Crab Alley actually is. I feel like it's actually surprisingly long.
Why would they attack you? Crumshell should hear about this.
Because I vaguely remember it's to where it's like almost ending, and then like it just immediately like starts up like picking up again, and then it's like twice as long as you'd actually expect. Like it has like a fake ending almost halfway through it, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've actually done Crab Alley.
You were attacked? A curfew? Oh, this is not good at all! I'm sure the River Claws are behind this, somehow. I can't do much to help from here. I need you to find the one who holds the key for my cage. To do that, you'll need to defeat some River Claw guards.
Oh great, we need to defeat 3 of them. Ah, it's such an awkward number. I hate whenever you have to fight 3 of anything in this game. Because whenever you're soloing, it means you have to do 2 fights minimum. Oh well. Not too big of a deal, I suppose. The spell you get from crown packs, can you farm them in-game too? It depends on the spell. Usually whenever they release a pack spell, they usually like wait a year before they allow you to get access to it for free. The last one they did it with was the Grizzleheim spells, which you can now get from a skeleton key boss. So the way it works is you'll notice that there are a bunch of packs in the game called the lore packs, and those are what give you the spells. And a lot of those ones can be obtained from a boss in Dragonspire called the Lore Master. And so, ideally, you'd want to... What should I do here? I guess I'll Balance Blade. So yeah. The Lore Master will drop lore spells that are within her drop table, so it depends on what's available. But not all are available right now, because they just released a new pack. Okay, I keep getting power pips, so I can't just wait on it. Yeah, so we'll just have to use the power pip or not. So yeah. I think it's just the Ravenwood Rangers lore pack that doesn't have any way to obtain it besides the packs. No, wait, there's also the Celestian Spelemental packs that still don't have one. Beyond that, though, yeah, I do think that the rest can be obtained from the Lore Master or from another source. I think you mentioned before that you grinded for Headless Horseman. Unless I'm misremembering someone else. But, yeah, there's the Halloween-specific ones like that, and there's also the Christmas ones, Krampus, and Reindeer Night. Beyond that, the rest of them can be obtained any time of year. So when they update the new spells, you can't get them before a year, unless you pay, basically. Yes. You know, they have to make money off the pack somehow. So for like a year or so, the Grizzleheim packs spells could only be obtained from there, which sucked because they were really, really good. I think maybe you could also craft them. I'm having trouble remembering because I never used them. Let me see, I have to go into the actual crown shop in order to look, but I have to kill these guys first. But yeah, for like a year, there's not going to be any easy way to get them. So like, it's this one. Yeah, so this new lore pack, you're probably not going to be able to get anything from them for like a year. And since this is a Spellament pack, you're going to have to wait a long time to be able to get those as well. The Grizzleheim lore pack was the previous most recent one, and so when they released that, you can now get these for free in-game. So yeah, like you can expect like late 2022, you're going to be able to get these for free. And maybe early to mid 2021, you might be able to get these. That's generally the timeline of events for it. Okay, so I actually want to see how much a double balance blade wolf does. It should one-shot them, I think. Yeah, they wouldn't make money off those packs, which is the only reason why they really released them to begin with. So they'll do a lot of stuff like that. Let's see how much this does. Yeesh. Couldn't even one-shot one of them. That's kind of depressing. So it's kind of pay-to-win card since the spell could be really good, I'm guessing. Yeah, it depends on the spell usually. Like a lot of these new, the Ranger lore pack that I was talking about, none of the spells in that one seem particularly good as far as I can tell. And usually the ones that are really good are just like the ones that leave behind a trap or that give you a shield or something. And those are only used for PvP. But from a PvP sense, yeah, they are kind of pay to win. But a lot of people would argue that they're actually not, like, necessary to win, but they do definitely help, as far as I can tell. like I said, I don't know much about anything in terms of PvP, but if we're talking about pay to win, that's pretty much all that really matters. Because, I mean, if this was just like a player versus enemy game, it wouldn't really matter how overpowered anything is. Because no matter how overpowered you make it, you can just justify it and say that, well, it can't ruin the experience for the player. So.
No more, no more! I'll talk! The king has the key to the prison in the White Tower.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, because I don't know anything about PvP, I can't tell you whether or not it's like a lot of pay to win, but yeah, they are pay to obtain, at least, a lot of the time. Unless you want to spend hundreds of battles against Lore Master getting like 1 or 2. We have to actually talk. Okay, alright, we need to head all the way back over there then. Yeah, I think pay to win PvP wise. That's possible. You'd have to ask somebody who's like actually like super familiar with PvP though, I think. As far as I know, a lot of the most overpowered spells in PvP are more so the ones that aren't even like pay to win. It's usually the ones that are like, it depends on the strategy you're using, I guess.
Rats! Let me think about this.
It's like calling anything that's PvP pay to win, because technically you can win with something that's not super expensive. Like I know there's different strategies, like the Dark Nova strategy, which is a shadow spell. I think I mentioned this before, but that actually is sort of an underdog strategy in PvP, which is you just use the spell Dark Nova and try to one-shot your enemy.
Here's what you must do. Go to the king and straighten this out.
And hypothetically, anyone can use the Dark Nova strategy. So, if you argue that if that one can win, then technically even PvP can't be pay to win, but that depends on your definition, I suppose.
Tell him that me being locked up just isn't working out. Use your magic to make him see reason.
What level am I? I'm a little bit away from obtaining Sandstorm still. I don't think I'll be getting it before I finish Wizard City. Although, thankfully it looks like I should be getting it pretty much as soon as I start Krokotopia. So that will be nice. Yeah, being able to get access to an AoE at this point in the game would help a lot. Let's see. Yeah, I keep pulling up the quest screen. I have a sort of like weird habit for that.
Now? The king is receiving no visitors today. He is awaiting his tea and the royal crumpets. Away with you.
Yeah, I don't know why. I have this weird tendency to kind of just like open up the quest screen whenever I'm not like actually thinking of anything. I don't even like look at it, I just kind of like bring it up. But yeah. There's a lot to be said about PvP, but I am probably not the person who should be saying it. You'd have to go to somebody like Awesome the Sauce or something, who's like the only major PvP Wizard101 content creator I can think of.
Receiving no visitors? How unlike him! What's that you say about tea and crumpets? That's unusual for the king. He's never been fond of them before. I have an idea. Catherine is the head cook. She's certain to be the one preparing the tea and royal crumpets. She knows King Thermidor better than almost anyone. Speak to her and see if she'll help us. Her house is down the street.
I actually don't remember if there are any side quests in Crab Alley. I don't think so. I think it's just like one really, really long main quest. In which case, besides doing the elective quests, I think I can just safely end it after Crab Alley. Because I might just do the... I might just skip the elective quests, honestly. Although I'm not entirely sure about that.
Hello. Is there something I can help you with?
Oh,
I'm glad Sir Thomas thought to send you here. Thank goodness someone else sees it. I thought I was going mad.
Her claws are literally as big as her torso are. Her claws are as big as her torso, I mean. That's very disturbing.
Wait, you haven't seen the king yet? Oh, you must see for yourself what is wrong.
I mean, imagine if your hands were like the size of like your entire torso. That would just be weird.
The king came back from his world tour different, but in a good way. And now it's like he's someone else.
Wait a minute. Does she have a tail? Is she a lobster? Is that the difference? I guess that kind of makes sense.
I can get you in to see him, but first I have to prepare the royal snack of tea and crumpets. I can make the tea, but some of those Riverclaw scoundrels outside swiped the crumpets I baked this morning. Can you go and get those crumpets back for me?
Again, 0 out of 3. That's just annoying. That was a mistake. Let's see. Yeah, this quest in particular has always really stuck with me, because I just keep thinking about wet crumpets. I don't really even know what a crumpet actually like is. I think it's like a kind of like biscuit. I just keep thinking like those crumpets have to be absolutely disgusting if they're cooked under water. The tea could probably be fine. I'm just thinking, I like the crumpets soggy? Are they crunchy? They have magic, but I'm kind of curious. It's never like explained very well. Sorry about that. Looks like I might have actually been unmuted for it. I'm not sure how much you all heard about that. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to take a short BRB, where I'm mostly just, maybe not even a BRB, where I'm just playing but not really talking. think it should be safe to loot again. Not sure why it gets so hectic around here late at night. But yeah, that just happens sometimes. No problem. I think you're on top of it, everything considered. Yeah. I am doing my best with it. Yeah. Which is why I'm kind of considering doing it late at night. Not late at night anymore. Doing it instead early in the afternoon. So hopefully I can avoid that, because it does seem to be becoming a trend where it's like happening later at night. Oh yeah, dog barking. I'm not sure if you heard what everyone was saying, because it wasn't talking happening too. Thankfully nothing that would like dox it. It was mostly just like talking about the dog and stuff. Like I said, I had thought I had managed to mute it, but then I looked over and I saw that it was actually still picking up audio. I'm not sure how much my noise suppression actually kicked in there. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Alright. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately we do have to fight 2 sets of these guys because of the way this works. I hate whenever it's a collect 3 quest because of that. And we fizzle. I'm not sure why we're fizzling so much. We have like 90% accuracy with this. Okay, I think it was laid up into a ghoul. But yeah, besides the occasional hiccups, I'd say these streams have been going pretty well though. It is kind of relaxing just to be able to go through. It's kind of relaxing until I start fizzling all the time. But it is kind of relaxing just to be able to play a game like Wizard101 late at night. It gives off a different vibe.
No! We love our crumpets.
Excellent! You recovered them! The king certainly loves his midday snack of tea and crumpets. I've prepared the tea. If you take it to the king, I'm sure he'll see you. Maybe you'll be able to see what's wrong.
Yeah, so. Now we're gonna finally see what's up with the king. I wonder what it is. Certainly not something stupid and weird. That couldn't possibly be it. No, he just went back on a long trip and ended up just coming back a different person.
You have the tea and the crumpets? It's about time. His Majesty was getting very hungry. Go on in.
Okay. So, let's see if they actually changed anything. Oh yeah, that's a crab if I've ever seen one.
You dare to intrude on King King Thermidor? Who do you think you... Oh, you have my king crumpets. Num 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 num. Num 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 num.
It's like, I can't tell if they're like soggy, or if that's like them being... I can't even tell if those are, really. They're like small little pancakes.
Oh, those were some magnificent crumpets.
But I just can't get it out of my head, the idea of them being like super soggy and weird.
Why are you looking at me like that? Do I have crumbs on my shirt? Chamberlain, Tind! Where are you, Chamberlain?
The king dismisses you with a curt nod. You've seen what you needed to see, though. The river claw called Amadeo is dressed in King Thermidor's royal garb. The disguise is cunning, but it was obvious to you that the king is an imposter.
I'm very tempted to make an Among Us joke right now, but I'll avoid doing that. Mostly because this was written way before that was have even been considered funny.
Did you see it? Thank goodness it's not just me. It's nothing like our King Thermidor at all. The real king is... dreamy. You need to return to Sir Thomas Cromshell. Tell him what you've learned.
Actually, based on the amount of XP I'm getting, I could hit level 16 before I leave Wizard City. Very exciting, because getting Sandstorm right now would help a lot. Let's see if we do half. We are about 800 away right now. Actually, maybe not, because we're only getting 40 from that.
The king is what? I can't believe the king is an imposter. Yet it explains so much. His huge appetite. How badly his clothes fit.
This last year has been very strange because every time I see the word imposter, it's just like awakens something in like the back of my brain.
This aggression will not stand. Something must have happened to the king. The real king, when he went through the breach in the river wall.
Too many memes. Too many memes have warped my perspective on things.
The king took several guards with him. Please go through the breach in the wall. See if you can find the king or any of his guards. First, though, you will need a royal order to get by those guards. That won't be easy. If you can get the king's seal from his desk in the royal tower, I can fake an order for you.
Thankfully, we don't have to bring a plate of crumpets and tea every time we want to get inside there. We basically are able to just walk right in. It's been so long though, I actually don't remember what the original one was even like anymore. It was basically the same, but instead of rescuing the king, we were rescuing Selena. Kind of funny that we can just walk right in and grab it though. Oh, he's not even in here right now. That's kind of weird.
You find the king's seal in a drawer filled with letters and CDs. Sir Thomas will need that.
Okay. Let's see, once we enter the breach, if I'm remembering correctly, we have about half of it left. I'm trying to calculate it in my head about how long it's actually going to be. Because I actually am getting a little bit tired too. And I'm thinking that if I'm going to be waking up earlier to try to stream in the afternoon instead. Or do it more often in the afternoon than at night. I'm probably gonna need to end it before like 4 or so. So I need to kind of focus.
Just show this royal order to the guards. They'll let you pass and enter the breach.
Thankfully this is not like a port. It's just Crab Alley. I'm sure if I skipped this, nobody would even realize I did. Except for like maybe like one person who's just like being nitpicky about it. Then again, I would know, and that's all that really matters. I would know I skipped it.
You show the guards the royal seal. They let you pass.
Sound easy.
You pass through the breach in the river wall and enter the deep warrens. You should look for any clues to the whereabouts of the king or any of his royal guard.
All right.
Thank goodness you've come to save me. Oh, good to see you. I'm so weary I can barely stand though. I need you to drive back some of the monsters that have been attacking me. Could you defeat the angler thugs and give me a chance to rest and think?
Yeah. These guys actually are a little bit annoying, if I'm remembering correctly. I think they do have access to pretty strong spells, relatively speaking, and they do have a pretty high amount of HP. So we'll do our best. Yeah, all things considered, if we had Sandstorm right now, this would actually be very helpful, because with one Balance Blade and one Sandstorm, it should be enough to one-shot everything in here. That's why it's so disappointing how difficult it actually is to get just enough XP for it. Thankfully these guys aren't as annoying as I remembered. At least not yet. But I fizzled again. So I guess I'll go for a Google, I guess. Just that way I can get some HP back. Okay, cool. I'm not fizzling this time. Yeah, fizzling this early on in the game is the bane of every single person who's ever played this game, I think. It's entirely not your fault, and with as little HP as you have this early on in the game, it's the difference between winning and losing a lot of fights. Okay, if this doesn't fizzle this time, that'll be it for the first of 2 fights. Then it shouldn't be too much longer. There'll be this one hallway, then a boss, then... Yeah, I'd say we could probably finish this before 3. Alright, so let's see. All we have access to is this item card that's displayed. Yeah, Crab Alley is kind of confusing to me. Unlike, White actually, like, doesn't continue to have Selena Gomez. Not entirely sure how his contract things actually tend to work out. Because for some reason Nick Jonas is still in the game. And he's been in it for like a decade at this point, if not longer. And so I just find it kind of bizarre that this entire section that was designed around something like that could just be retooled, but that why it would be retooled like that. I'm also kind of confused about the fact that they actually kept it in the game. There's actually not a lot of examples of Wizard101 actually removing content, but it's not like that's the only bit either. Because Celestia used to actually have this pre-quest where you'd go around and collect the spiral key for it, which was really interesting, but it was also extremely difficult at the time. Because it was designed with the idea that only the most hardcore players would reach the end. And so now there's like, just like barely like any like hint of it that you ever actually did it. Besides, I think like a specific ring, you could only get from that. It's just weird to think that even Wizard101 has a lot of that kind of permanently missable content. Part of the reason why I kind of had like a big problem when I first started Genshin. I didn't like Genshin Impact, that is. I didn't like the fact that there were so many events that happened before I had even like started playing the game, and that they would just like seemingly never return. I do have to give Kings Out credit for like still reusing the quest line and areas that they created for the Selena Gomez event, but yeah. Oh, thank you for following. I have 10 max wizards. Now, in order to have 10 max wizards, you'd have to have 2 separate accounts. And that gets expensive really fast. I take it that you really love this game, though. Yeah, but thank you for the follow. Yeah, I have to turn around and talk to this guy. But yeah. I do find it kind of interesting that Wizard101 even has, like, its own, permanently missable content like that. Oh yes, welcome.
Good work. You pummeled those angler thugs back into the depths. King Thermidor? Yes, I did come with him through the breach, but we were separated shortly after we arrived. I know the king is still somewhere within these deep warrens. I refuse to return to Crab Alley without him. Well, I've drawn a line in the sand here, in this no crabs land, and I will wait here until you find him. But first, can you help me fix my fortifications? That way you can go safely ahead, knowing that I'm watching your back. I need you to collect some of the loose shells scattered about and bring them here. Can you do that for me?
I sure can. Yeah, but 10 max wizards. Is that just a name, or do you actually have that many? Because I've only ever maxed out, like, the initial 7. And even then, that was over the course of different accounts, and over different times. You know, I have some characters maxed the back when the max was, like, level 90. So I've actually have only maxed, like, 1 or 2. And I'm close to maxing out the second one, which is why I'm kind of counting it already. Yeah. These shells, I do remember that they're really spread far out between each other, so you either have to wait for them to respawn or risk constantly getting pulled into one of these fights. Man, this is so tight. It's so very hard to navigate. Okay, but yeah. Thankfully, I think we only have to fight a few things in there next. Yeah. I'm not like in a rush to end the stream or anything. I am, however, in a rush to finish Wizard City. Because if I'm gonna end up having to start the real playthrough, as it were, the real challenge of it, that is, in Chrysalis Part 2, this is taking me quite a bit.
Those will do nicely. Now, can you help me fix my fortifications? We want to create walls with the bigger shells and make scarefish soldiers using the smaller shells.
Okay. Yeah, I have been stuck on Wizard City a little bit longer than I had intended. So, I very much want to be able to move on to Krokotopia as soon as possible. Because I'm going to be honest, it's just Crab Alley. Alright. Talk to Captain Roderick.
Good job.
What do you got to say?
These shell walls will help me defend the line, and the scarefish will frighten off most of whatever comes this way.
I do find it kind of interesting that these guys are smart enough to talk, but are apparently stupid enough to be scared off by a scarecrow.
Excellent! Now we can focus on finding King Thermidor. You'll need to defeat some Riverclaw guards. Cause them such distress that one of them will confess what he knows about our king.
Oh, what's this? I went to level 15. Oh, okay, cool. So will I get enough XP to level up to 16? Maybe not. It would be exciting to get Sandstorm before we can enter Krokotopia. Okay, so we have to fight even more Riverclaw guards. These ones are Storm, so they should have less HP, which means it should be easier to beat them. 220? Oh yeah, that's nothing. Just one blade and one scorpion should be enough to take these guys down. Which is nice. But again, it's always 3. It's always 3 in early Wizard101, and I'm not entirely sure why. Could just be 2, you know, so that way people who are playing it alone, like me, would be able to just get it over with quickly. They really do want to encourage team play, it seems like. But thankfully for the rest of the first time user experience update, they did kind of change a lot of it around so it only used to 2 players. I mean 2 enemies at a time, so 1 person could do it. Seems like a lot of the changes that they're doing in terms of the story is making it a little bit more friendly for solo players. Which I know some people are upset about, because they like the challenge of playing solo. Me, I just personally always felt that like the story works better if you're alone. And it's also a little bit more convenient to play. If you do it all solo, that is. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Oh, cool. Yeah, we right off the bat. I'm not sure if this will be able to kill unless it gets a decent damage roll on it. Nope, just short. Kind of a waste of a power pip in that case, but at the same time, it shouldn't have added too much to it. Not really a waste of a power pip. I don't know why I worded it like that. Biggest concern is now there's 2 of them still. They're gonna kick my butt. And they already took out like a decent chunk of my health bar. Oh, that's 1 down. So technically we already completed the quest. There's still this guy. This is why I hit the number 3. 3 is like your unlucky number in this game. Snappy Griffin is a really cute pet. I'm kind of glad that they made one of the cuter pets in the game also really good. It's actually kind of interesting how good of a bump it is for balance, actually. You know, I think they should have like a Snappy Griffin Forever school. Because it really does make playing as a balanced wizard just generally much easier.
Hey! Oh, no more. The Crab King is held beyond the Alcazar, in the depths of the Wailing Cavern.
Oh, we have to go talk to Roger first. What is that? Senior Novice's Robes. What a name. Okay, so...
The Wailing Cavern? Oh, that doesn't sound good. Not at all. Clearly, we need to rescue King Thermidor from the clutches of these brutes, but a direct assault may not work. I need you to scout the Alcazar, that's their fancy name for a castle, and see if you can't find a secret way to sneak in.
Alcazar. That sounds very similar to like Alcatraz. I wonder if that's why. I don't know. Alcazar though. I know what language that is. That it means castle. So where is it? Is this big hole in the wall somewhere? That's like on the pillar.
A small passageway into the Alcazar is hidden back here, but it's too dark to navigate. Maybe Captain Roderick will have an idea what to do next.
This actually does have some pretty good background music. I never really paid attention to the background music in Crab Alley before. Mostly because, like, whenever I'm actually playing, like, solo, I usually just have it, like in my own free time, I just have it, like, muted and usually just, like, listen to things in the background, like my own personal music. But I can really appreciate the Wizard101 soundtrack.
Dark passageway, you say? Perfect! Sounds like you'll need a light. Have you seen the glowfish around here? They are so pretty.
Like, the music of Wizard101 is actually one of its biggest draws, I think. But it's just so in the background that you never really notice it. But if you've never actually, like, sat down and, like, listened to it on YouTube, I think the Atmoplex channel has most of it, but then there's also a few other ones where you can just listen to it. And the music is very high quality. It's always very clean, and it's always very, very epic a lot of the time.
Go collect some. Once you have a school's worth, take them to the dark passageway and release them. Or they'll swim into the tunnel and light your way.
Like, especially the ones that are for the final bosses. I've always felt that the music may be a little bit too epic in this game, though. Because especially when you just, like, start out in Wizard City, it is kind of bizarre to hear just how loud and triumphant it sounds. In comparison to what you're actually doing, which you're just fighting, like, some basic 55 HP enemies at the very start of the game. Okay. I think I picked up the hardest one pretty easily, so I don't think I'll have to worry about being pulled into a fight. Which is good. I do not want to fight any more of these guys than are necessary. This actually is giving a pretty decent amount of XP. I'm counting every single point I get until I actually get to level 16.
You now have a school's worth of glowfish. You should take them to the dark passage by the Alcazar.
Right, got it. Okay. I'll just wait. Okay, there we go. Now, let's see, where can we go? Over here. I forget if we're ever actually going to end up doing anything with those guards in the cages. I'm not sure.
You release the glowfish. They swim into the dark, lighting the passage. You have entered the Wailing Cavern. Now to find the king.
Oh, interesting. We got the Drains quest. I also forgot this exists.
Excuse me, wizard, but one of my workers desperately needs your help. Please come find us in Old Town. Poor Doug might be hurt.
The dungeon in Old Town is for level 15 wizards. You can still do it at higher levels, but you may find more rewarding challenges elsewhere.
Man. Gamma's voice was really deep there.
Why, hello! Are you here for the sound check? Great to see you! It's always good to meet a fan. I met King Amadeo, and he asked me to perform for him soon. That was quite a while ago, though. He said he wanted to check out Crab Alley, but that he'd be back for the show. I've lost my guards, and I can't go look for them because of the dreaded eels. They're very bitey.
Okay, well that's yet another thing I managed to catch on camera.
Have you been to Crab Alley?
Very nice.
How are things back home? What? My kingdom has been taken over? That sounds terrible. I should go back, but I can't leave without my guards. If you can explore the area and find my missing guards, I'd be happy to talk to you about returning to Crab Alley.
Alright. Nice of him to not leave any of his men behind. Very admirable trait for a king, I suppose. Even if he is one that's so stupid that he would just stand around here and not even bother to return home. It really does raise a good question, though. How smart are these people supposed to be? Because they fall for scared fish, yet they also can dress themselves and presumably make these weapons. And they can also do magic, which implies that they can study. I'm kind of curious if there's just like some sort of like limit in their brain. That depends on how much they can actually think about doing. It's like, what's the difference between like this thing that looks high as a kite and one of those guys walking around? No, they're both fish. Oh, cool. They reset. Nice.
Is the king safe?
Oops, I accidentally skipped the dialogue.
Claws claim that their super smart science guy started this whole problem. He was mucking about with something called a storm battery. Can you believe that? I've never heard such nonsense.
Okay. Since I just remembered now that the drains are a thing, I suppose I'll also have to do those tonight as well.
A super smart science guy? How did they get one of those? We must have one for our own empire. We need to find this super smart science guy. He's sure to know how this whole thing started. There's a chamber behind the stage that makes strange sounds all the time. The River Claws called it the Storm Chamber and told me to stay away. Maybe you're brave enough to check it out.
An electrified gate. Someone doesn't want you getting inside.
An electrified gate? Someone doesn't want you getting inside. An electric gate? You know, we had some problem with telluric eels nibbling on equipment. One of them caused an electrical short. You could use the telluric eels to short out the gate. Why don't you collect some telluric eels and try out my idea?
Yeah, so thankfully the drains shouldn't be too difficult either. I'm probably gonna end up skipping the fishing and the gardening quests, at least on stream, if I decide to pick one of it all. But yeah, I'll definitely make sure to do the drains too. I completely forgot that was even a thing. So yeah, I suppose after Crab Alley we have the drains next. Although I might do a quick BRB between them. And I neglected to realize these guys were balanced. This is awkward. Let's see how much damage this does. Oh, cool. Thankfully I'm not the only balance that's fizzling all the time. Let's see what the enemies are doing it too. Okay, we might be able to kill them with a fairy and a boosted ghoul. Okay, yeah. So that one was a max damage berry, but that did still seem to be able to do the correct amount on average. So at least I have some sort of way of taking these things out. But I can't remember when I get Spectral Blast, because that is supposed to be like my main tool for dealing with balanced enemies this early on in the game. I think it might be a level 20 spell. I might as well pull up the list for reference. Uh-oh. I tried just looking it up on my phone, and apparently my internet is out on my phone. Which means that having my stream on my phone was probably eating up my data. That's kind of weird. What would cause that to happen? So let's see. What is the bounce spell list? Because Sandstorm will be helpful for dealing with things in general, and it will help a lot with the drains, but in terms of using it with other things,
You think you have enough telluric eels to try to overload the gate?
those other things specifically being bounce enemies. We get random helping hands, hex, judgments. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, Spectral Blast. There we go. Okay, yeah, it's level 26. That is a lot.
This must be the storm chamber.
Wizard, your magical theories and postulates are unwelcome here. This is an era for scientific progress. I will master the storm batteries in the Riverclock Kingdom. We'll see a revolution like none before. Now prepare to face the fury of applied science.
Oh wait, he has 2 minions. That's not fair. Oh, but it doesn't have much HP either. So it should be relatively easy. I'll blade into a scorpion and kill him. And then I'll just hope that the bounce enemies fizzle a lot. Oh, I didn't go in with full HP either. Well, hopefully Ghoul and my healing spell should be able to keep me alive long enough to be able to deal with this. Let's see. Okay, so now dealing with these things, I think I'll just use the healing spell first. Because ghouls should be back some amount of HP, but I don't want them to be able to knock me down too fast. Okay, what we got? What we got? You know, I'll do this. I'll balance blade ghoul into dark sprite. I'm not sure if it'll matter, though. But I think I will need the HP back after this turn. That's the only thing. Can these things not use 2-pip spells or what? Because I don't think I've seen them use one yet. We'll hit the one with more pips, I guess. Oh, man. Yeah, unfortunately... Oh, yeah, so the king is 2-pip spells. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, this is turning out to be a little bit more difficult than I'd hoped. But these things should be dead this turn, so hopefully this works. Okay. Not like I have much of an option. We'll go for a double-bladed glue. Let's see if the boost can kill it. Although it shouldn't. Okay, so hopefully this is enough to be able to do it. Yeah. So I think I will end up doing a BRB after I finish Crap Alley, so that way I can just get another drink really quick. Maybe stretch my legs a little bit. Maybe some coffee or something, just to help wake myself up a little bit.
Now that you've walloped some sense into me, I see that I have gone mad with power. I thought to teach you a science lesson, but it was you who showed me the error of my ways. I had no idea my experiments with the storm batteries would cause so many problems. Together we can make things right. I need you to find the storm battery parts that I damaged in my initial experiments. The currents spread them far and wide.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best idea, because it is a little late at night for me, and I will need to get to bed. But it would definitely help me wake up a little bit more.
Search the deep warrens for the broken pieces of the storm batteries and bring them back here.
Just so that way I can be able to focus a little bit better when I'm actually doing the drinks. Which will be a little bit longer. They'll be like around 30 minutes themselves probably. Because despite being like a little dungeon area, they are pretty quest heavy, all things considered. Thinking of the stretching leg part? Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely at least that part. You know, don't want to get a blood clot in my leg or anything. Because apparently that's a thing that actually can happen if you sit down for too long. Although I've never actually seen it happen to anybody or heard of it ever happening to anybody. I've only seen it online. But I believe it. It's kind of like ducks dying if you feed them bread and stuff, or rice or something. It's only ever something I've heard online. I try to make a point to stand up often, because I've heard the same. Yeah, it's a pretty smart idea. Yeah, there's lots of information like that, where I'm not entirely sure if it's actually true or not. Or like, if it's actually like something likely to happen. But it's just something that helps out a little bit. Also, just walking around for a few minutes can often help you like clear your mind and stuff too. So yeah, there's no downsides to doing it. Besides just having to leave you guys behind for a little bit. Gravelli is actually pretty interesting in that regard. I have one of those fancy standing desks. Oh, same. But then again, those are really expensive, and I'm not really sure I have enough room for something like that. I have a pretty low ceiling where I live.
finding the broken pieces. Unfortunately, I accidentally fed some of the lightning
Poor gang.
seeds to the
Yep.
telluric eels.
Yeah, poor game.
It was an experiment. Besides, they really liked them, though it did make them more aggressive. Strike that, move on. You must defeat the telluric eels and recover the lightning seeds. Onward for science!
Alright, cool. So we need to defeat even more of these things. So with that in mind, should I take out these and put in more death spells? The answer is probably yeah. Because I keep having to fight these balance enemies. And I still don't have an answer to them outside of just using these death spells. Yeah. I forgot how many little sections of this there actually were. Like I said, it actually is surprisingly long. Because, you know, you get to the point where you find the king and then you think, you know, you might go back and fight him. But then all of a sudden now you also have to do this, like, extended part. Man, I'm getting so many power pips, though. I wonder what my chances up to at this point. I think it should only be like 15% still. But I keep on getting that. If anything, that's good news, though. Oh, no. Dead man's just 5. Yeah, but that is good news, though, because Sandstorm is a pretty expensive spell to cast. So I can go around one-shotting enemies like this. Well, not enemies like this, these are rounds, but like the storm enemies and stuff. That would be pretty nice. Okay. Judges before. Hopefully they drop them. Because that is like a huge issue with a lot of the early defeat and collect quests, is that they just straight up do not drop what you want a lot of the time. Again, I think it was like to encourage people to play in a team, because I think the more of them there are, the more likely you are to get them, which makes sense. Well, at the same time, it makes soloing all this stuff kind of painful. Okay. Cool, we did actually manage to get it on the first go. Nice. Okay. So yeah. This is kind of interesting. I think like this is the only section in the game where you actually have to go in and out of a place multiple times through a sigil. Because normally when it has a sigil it means it's a repeating instance, so it restarts.
Now we have everything we need to make the world safe. For science. I mean, get things back to normal. Now that we have the pieces of the storm batteries and the lightning seeds, it's a simple matter to put it all together. I will monitor the flow from this position and save to while you engineer the repair. Yeah, you just put the pieces where you think they should go, and then I'll turn on the current. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, thankfully, we are the absolute best repairmen in the history of anything. Like, we do this literally all the time.
The storm batteries look like they have been restored to working order.
Okay, nice.
Very good, my young scientist. Wizard. The telluric eel should no longer be a problem. The storm batteries are fixed. You should go fetch back the king now.
Okay. So yeah, this should be about the ending of Crab Alley.
You again? You want to go home? What's the rush? We have all the time in the spiral. You fixed the storm batteries and put the super smart science guy in his place, did you? All's well, I suppose.
Kind of impressive that the voice actor for this can somehow manage to make themselves do that. I guess they're using like their tongue for it and still manage to make it somewhat clear.
Oh, I forgot that my kingdom's been taken over by an imposter, my old rival, King Amadeo of the Riverclaw. If only you had my royal seal. What's that? You do? Oh, wonderful! My royal seal will allow you to get into the royal tower, past the guards.
Okay, nice. So yeah, we should level up exactly into 16 by the time we finish this. I think, yeah, for sure, we are going to. Alright, that's actually pretty exciting. Now I'm gonna be able to make some seriously fast progress through Krakatopia with that. Tripping over my own words. Yeah. I do need to get to sleep soon, actually. But I think with a little bit of leg stretching after Crab Alley, I should be in peak condition to be able to take on the drains.
The royal seal, huh? Of course, go right in.
In any circumstances, I do think that it would be nice to be absolutely 100% certain that I'm 100% done with Wizard City before I move on to Krakatopia. So I'm definitely going to do the drains tonight. I will persist on, even if I start yawning a lot.
Of tea and crumpets. Did you bring me more fine delectables? What? You dared to call me King King Thermidor, an imposter? How disrespectful. Wait a moment. You are no simple baker of tasty pastries, are you? You stand revealed as a wizard of Wizard City. Very well, young wizard. You may have seen through my disguise, but you won't leave the Royal Tower alive.
Yeah, this guy's Storm, so we can switch back to a few balanced spells. I actually wanted to try out Locust Swarm. Okay, cool, perfect. So we got both blades out, so that means we just have to throw those down and we try out Locust Swarm for the first time. Because as of now, that will be our strongest attack. Yeah, perfect, we drew right into it. Wow, this is going great. Wow, and he fizzled too, so if this kills him... Then I just beat this guy super easily. Didn't even take a single hit. Alright, cool. That's Crab Alley.
I am undone! To be defeated in such a strange and foreign land. For shame.
Bravo! Very well done, young wizard. The resemblance was uncanny. How did you ever tell that King Amadeo had replaced me? Catherine? So it was a simple cook who helped you see through the imposter's disguise. I always liked Catherine. I know. I will let her know how much she means to me. We'll write her a poem, and you will read it to her. Oh, how romantic. go to my writing desk and craft a poem expressing my gratitude. Then go read it to my dear sweet Catherine. Make haste!
Okay, cool. There we go. You hit level 16.
Good gosh, you certainly are adamant in your training. Come see me for a new spell.
I do like the overly British way that the Marleybonian people talk. It's certainly a breath of fresh air. He's a lot different from the other teachers. Shame he doesn't get much recognition, like Malorn. They're both kind of whatever, in terms of the actual story of the game. I do wish they got a little bit more expansion. I don't know, maybe if you're a death wizard, maybe Malorn gets more character development after the first time user experience.
You did it! How is King Thermidor? I pray he's not too shaken up by his ordeal. A poem? For me? Oh, yes, yes! Please, read it aloud!
You take out the poem and begin to read.
Lo, in my darkest times away from this place, you were my light, my beacon, my grace. Though I paid you no heed, you stayed loyal in time of need. Your claws how dainty as they mold your sweet tart. Your kindness has cracked this crab shell apart.
That was lovely. Please show the king my deepest gratitude.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, that poem was actually unironically good. I actually forgot how good it was. Pretty cool. What a wholesome and nice way to end this little, whatever this was, section of my playthrough. Yeah, this was actually not as bad as I'd remembered it. I think it's mostly just due to the fact that I came in here maybe a bit too quickly for stuff. He's coming in here without an AoE is pretty painful, especially because of how strong a lot of the enemies are.
Oh, she liked the poem! I am so happy. Thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. You saved me and restored me to my throne. I could write you a poem. But wait, there is no time. You should return up above and tell Sir Homer Sunblade that the storm batteries are repaired. We will make sure the river claws do not damage them further.
Alright, perfect. And that there is Crab Alley. So we're done for now. Originally I was planning on ending the stream after that, but thankfully I got reminded about the drains. Because if I ended up having to come back later, that would have been a little bit bizarre. So yeah, I think after we turn in this quest and get whatever robe we're gonna get, I'll BRB for like maybe a minute or two, and let's grab a new drink and just come right back to finish the drains pretty quickly.
You're back. It looks like you were successful. The Storm Mill is back in business. I hope you didn't run into any trouble. What's that? A tale of two kings? A mad scientist? Crabs writing poetry? That's quite an adventure you had, young wizard.
Alright, cool. Oh yeah, that's right, we get the rockin' outfit. Nice. Yeah, the original version had Selena Gomez on it. And I think it was like blue instead. But yeah, so now we can teleport back to Ravenwood. We're gonna grab Sandstorm. Really quick. We're gonna adjust our deck around it. Because now that we have Sandstorm, we don't really need anything else. There we go. The great thing about Sandstorm is that it does almost as much damage as a Locust Swarm, but it does it to all enemies. Which is the appeal of AoEs. So what I'll do is I will figure out how to do this. So I don't need Locust Swarm or Scorpion, and they shouldn't need Dark Fairies. What am I going to be facing in the drains? Right, so I'll actually keep the ghouls with that, and I'll also throw in a feint, because I am going to need to feint the final boss of the drains. Okay, so we have a potion. Okay, so actually I think I'll walk back to Old Town before I get up for a minute. Because let's see. Yeah, we gotta talk to Renee with them. And she should be just down here. Okay, so yeah, this is the drinks. And this is, I believe, this time, the actual final little bit of Wizard City content. That isn't just a tutorial or anything for some side quest. So, or not side quest, some like little piece of extra whatever, like fishing or crafting or whatever. So we'll finish this up when I get back in a minute or so. Alright. I am back. There we go.
Oh, am I glad to see you, Wizard. I'm afraid all the renovations we've done in Wizard City have led to a few unintended consequences. You know, construction noise, dust, broken windows, and a handful of seismic tremors. Nothing major, but we did cause this hole in the bedrock. I had directed my crew to fix the hole ASAP, but apparently curiosity got the better of young Doug.
Doug's always been keen on holes. A natural-born digger, that one. Unfortunately, he never quite mastered the art of digging himself out.
According to the city plans, there's a network of runoff drains running beneath this area. Poor guy probably just can't find his way out.
Ah, yes, thank you. Yeah, glad to be back.
Or he's got himself cornered by a cave troll or a sewer kraken. Dog's always going on about being afraid of cave trolls and sewer krakens.
I actually do kind of like the trains. I always felt like it was a really neat addition to Wizard City.
More than likely, he's simply gotten lost and disoriented in the dark.
Dog's even more afraid of the dark. Please, Wizard, you gotta go down there and rescue Dog. His mum will kill us if something happens to him.
Oh yeah, I did manage to stretch my legs a little bit. Just some basic stuff. Just like actually stretched them and did like a few little almost half squat things. Just to get my blood pumping again back to my brain. Okay, yeah. So what I really like about this area is that it looks really cool.
Another nasty little topsider. Let me guess. You's looking for that fuzzy flea farm what came scratching round here, ain't you?
So like, I actually really like bugs. I like the way these guys look a lot. I think they look really cool. The drain also has some really fun music. It reminds me a lot of like Slyke music.
I'd be happy to tell you where he is, but I'm gonna need me a little favor first. You see them workers over there? They stole my tools.
Yes. I do try to take care of myself as much as I can. Unfortunately, I am a little bit absent-minded, and I did not realize that I would be streaming this long tonight, because I completely forgot this place existed.
I can't work without my tools, and the boss don't allow no freeloaders. Capiche? You get me my tools, and I'll tell you where your doggy is.
Yes, I also made sure to chug down a pretty decent amount of water, and also made sure to eat a pretty good meal before I started as well. So, all that remains is to finish this and get to bed now, and I've officially done all I needed to do today. In order to take care of myself, that is. Oh yeah. This is what I hated about the drains. So the thing about the drains is it's actually pretty hard. Like not even as like a joke, it actually is like a legitimate hard area. And the reason why is because these guys actually start using some really intense spells. Like this one, I think gives them a blade. No, okay, that's a different version. Yeah, these guys start throwing down lots of shields. They have a lot of HP. Like, the HP of the basic enemies in here is basically double of Crab Alley. But thankfully, you have these. And this should one-shot them still. Yeah, that's a lot. As you can see, I wasn't joking when I said that Sandstorm would be a huge upgrade to our overall abilities. However, we didn't get what we needed, so we're still in a pretty awkward situation here. Yep. Getting your hands on AoEs changes the tone and just general feel of the game completely. Because all of a sudden, you go from struggling in every fight to actually managing to be able to kill most things pretty quickly. So, yeah. Oh, nice. We keep getting power pips, too. Yeah, normally we'd be in a pretty awkward situation because we'd have to wait like an extra turn for those pips, but yeah. This is coming out great. But the funny thing is, I completely forgot to buy treasure cards for enchanting nuggets, so technically I could be even stronger right now.
Oh, forget about it. We was just messing with Manny. We didn't know he was going to sick a topsider on us. Here, give the big lava his tools back.
My tools! Now I can finally get back to work. Thanks, Wizard.
Yeah, go ahead, get back to work. Keep wage slaving for the rest of your life.
I seen your dog pal a while back. Poor Pooch was running around whimpering, scratching at every door he could find. Then he made the mistake of scratching at that door over there, the one to the boss's office. Ain't seen hide nor hair of him since. I don't recommend entering the boss's office uninvited, but if you tells him that Manny Dibbles sent you, you should be okay. Probably. Good luck.
Speaking of sending people back to work, I actually never finished part 2 of Ganyu's quest. I might actually do like a short Genshin stream at some point in the future, just to finish up part 2 of that one. And maybe some other things.
Oh, whoa!
right there, you disgusting little topsider. What's that? Manny Dibble sent you? I dislike that freeloading bum more than topsiders.
Nice. I also like the fact that he's wearing an actual tracksuit. He's got his beaten stick and everything. That's a straight up gangster. Coming through here as a myth, which is my last one, I remember this vividly, was a little bit difficult because I think they do end up getting shields for myth. Thankfully, as a balance, I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I don't think anything in here uses tower shield, so I should be doing max damage the whole way through. But if you're a fire or a storm, this place is an absolute nightmare. Yeah, this is the awkward situation where I just have to kind of pass. Oh, yep, there it is. The myth shields. I had to deal with those my first time through. Got a new quest. Oh boy, that was ages ago. I can barely remember it. As you can guess, I'm always up for a Genshin stream. Yeah. Personally, I like doing these Wizard101 streams a lot. I don't want to entirely abandon all of the other streams I do. It's just that, like I said, I'm just finishing Wizard City for the first time, after 3 streams. And so that means there's a lot ahead of me. And this is actually a really bad situation. But yeah. I might end up doing some more variety streams again. Maybe not like super often, but I'm thinking like maybe the day after tomorrow. Yeah, having fun with me, a streamer having fun is what really carries stream. Yeah, I agree. My main thing is, you know, I have fun with Genshin too. And I actually would kind of like to finish that quest, which is why I mentioned it in the first place. Because this reminded me, and I was like thinking like, oh yeah, I was actually kind of having fun playing through that quest on Genshin. I never actually finished it. Yeah, my main thing though would just be like, just that I just have a lot to get around to, and what he healed? I didn't know he could do that. Oh no, am I gonna die? Oh no. I actually managed to kill him.
You know what they says, if you seize one topsider, there are thousands more you can't see. Let's book it out of here before the infestation.
Yeah. I'm maybe thinking of doing... As I was saying, I might end up doing 2 streams a day. So I'm thinking I might end up doing maybe 1 Genshin stream instead of like a Wizard101 stream. At some point where I go ahead and finish the Ganyu quest.
Oh, better get rid of that disgusting topsider before the boss finds out.
Like maybe... Not sure about tomorrow. Maybe like the day after tomorrow. I think it would be fun to finish what I started there. And also, I don't want to burn myself out on Wizard101 either. Because there's a long path ahead of me. And it's going to require a lot of discipline to be able to make it all the way through it. So I think I should throw in a variety stream in here or there. You know. So yeah, I think Genshin will be the next one. Okay, cool. Perfect. I got the item card blade I needed. Alright. Sounds good. Good balance, but clever. This one is really gonna take months. Yeah. Thing is, you know, about it being months long, As it's actually not like a complaint, although I mean, kind of like might sound like one, because the truth is, Wizard101 is just a really long game. And so when you consider the fact that you can potentially finish the entire game in like a month or two, that means you're getting like potentially hundreds of hours worth of stuff to do with like $20 worth. And you can basically finish the entire game for like $20 on one character, and it gives you like hundreds of hours of stuff to do. So it's gonna take months, like legitimately, but that's actually like not abnormal for the game. But yeah, this one in particular is going to be longer than most. Like, don't get me wrong. But yeah. I think keeping a sort of balance could be good. And Genshin, I think, makes for some good one-off streams, because since I already finished all the story content, there's not really a rush to do it. And it also gives me a very good, like, start and cutoff point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this story quest or whatever stream. So I think that could potentially work. Yeah. Man, this is not going well. The drains is really draining. Yeah, I get you. We have been playing MMOs for years and Genshin since release, so I'm a strange. No stranger to long game types. You can call it types, I don't know. Oh yeah.
Great, just great! Another topsider's gonna come in here and get the boss all riled up! Thanks a lot, you disgusting little pest!
Yeah, I suppose that would be the case for somebody who's played MMOs for a long time. Because Wizard101 is actually not necessarily like one of the oldest ones, but it is a long-standing one. Oh, sorry, I'm typing a lot. Yeah, it's fine. I can still understand what you're saying. Like, perfectly fine. But yeah. I personally didn't play MMOs a lot. Like, I never played World of Warcraft. I barely touched RuneScape. Wizard101 was pretty much like the main thing I did. But like, even in comparison to Genshin, this game has been out for like, yeah, like 13, 14 years. So, there's just a lot to do in it. In particular for this one. And thankfully, unlike Genshin, there's no like artifacts or anything. So that's kind of why I prefer this game to it. Is because it's not like there's a case of like, oh, the grind never ends. Like, you actually know exactly what the grind is. I played a lot of Guild War 2s and put some hours into Terror DSO. Yeah, you see, I've heard of all of those, but I've never actually played a lot of them. The main reason why is usually because I was usually more of a fan of like more straightforward RPGs, I think. I used to play lots of JRPGs when I was younger.
It is rude to barge into a place of business without an appointment. Boys, let us teach this topsider a lesson in proper office etiquette.
Yeah, I used to just play a lot of more normal RPGs, and you know, for like on my own personal time, I'd usually play like Skyrim or something if I actually wanted to play like a big like game with like a lot of content. Right, and the main reason why I played Skyrim is because, you know, you can mod the heck out of it and make it basically anything you want at this point. I don't know. The whole thing about like the whole addiction model of games doesn't really seem to capture me too much. Except for like Wizard101. Wizard101 is like the only game that actually kind of managed to like pull me in and keep me there. Like even Genshin I probably would have... Like even at this point with Genshin, I usually don't really play it on my own time unless I'm playing with either my sister or, you know, other people. Like, you know, you guys, like Tappy and stuff. There's so many great things about Skyrim, but never gotten around to it. I would recommend it. Personally. If nothing else, so you can actually know what it's like. But yeah, I actually have a pretty interesting story about my own personal experience with the Elder Scrolls series. Although I was kind of thinking of maybe saving that story for like, I don't know, maybe some kind of like retrospective video. Whoops, I do now on the flee. Yeah. I have a lot of ideas for videos, that's another thing. I have a lot of ideas for videos, but I don't actually know when I'd even start producing them. I need to get started though. I started on a Horizon Zero Dawn review. I started on a lot of things, but yeah. That aside, great things about Skyrim. I'm surprised if you actually heard great things about Skyrim itself. You probably heard a lot more great things about the modding community of Skyrim. Because the thing about Skyrim is that it has a very involved modding community, and the way that developers handle it, yeah, the modding, yep. So the developers give out something called the Creation Kit, and it's basically the... I'm not sure what the coding term for it would be, but it's basically like a backdoor into the engine of the game itself, the same way the developers would have it. So you can use it to make the game in the same way the developers would. And so you can add any asset, you can add any sound or whatever, and it will work exactly as you'd want it to. And I'm going to die. So as you can see, the drains are a little bit difficult. The drains are just a little bit hard. On that note, I should probably add some of these in. You know, I completely neglected to even remember that those are a thing. I forgot how bad it got. But yeah. And so, I remember, like, picking up Skyrim, like, after, like, a year or two after it came out, and the modding kind of sucked. But then the people who do it managed to figure out ways to just, like, massively overhaul the engine. And now, like, the mods can do basically anything. Right? And so now there's, like, you could turn Skyrim into a straight-up first-person shooter if you wanted to. It's actually pretty incredible. The only downside is you have to actually, like, manually go through the entire modding nexus and, like, download every single thing you want individually. That sounds cool. Oh yeah, it is very cool. Personally, I like to turn the game into, like, a super overpowered, like, anime-styled magic game, where, like, I'm throwing around, like, giant fireballs that explode and, like, take out, like, entire, like, cities worth of people in a single attack. Another person I knew liked to turn the game into, like, a Total War style thing, where, like, they have, like, an army of followers, and, like, they ride around on, like, their horses and pretend they're, like, cavalry and stuff. And some other people just like to use, the zombie apocalypse mod, where it just, like, changes everyone in the game into, like, zombies, and then you have, like, and then you can install, like, the immersive gun mods, where it's, like, dwarven, magical, like, repeating crossbows, basically. Yeah, there's a lot of variety to it. I actually got invited to this beta thing, which is like an automatic mod loader, and so I was thinking of maybe doing like a Skyrim stream or something, or like another thing of variety. But I'd need to figure out how to properly... Well, I too don't shy away from a good power fantasy. Anime mods are fun. Like, power fantasy is fun, but more importantly, there's actually like some really good anime mods for it, and those are also very well made. And that's what I was about to say, is that, like, those mod installer thing I got invited to would allow me to quickly mod the game and put together a list without having to put, like, too much of my own research into it. But the thing is, how am I going to get my anime mods? Because unless somebody makes a list of it, then I won't be able to do it. And so I need to figure out a good load order. But if I can do that, Skyrim stream at some point, definitely. So yeah, I managed to actually take out those guys. Perfect. Oh cool, he stunned me. I think that's actually the first time that we actually have seen a stun in this. But yeah. Skyrim modding is whatever you make of it. And if you know anything about coding, you can make whatever you want as well. Lots of very talented people have spent a lot of time developing stuff for it. Okay, perfect. I managed to get a shield off before he hit us with something big. We should be able to. Sandstorm. So yeah. Skyrim stream some point in the future. Genshin Impact stream soon. And then we'll have mostly Wizard101 still. But yeah. I do think that a Skyrim stream where I just go around and like murder a bunch of people to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan or something. I feel like that'd be funny. Because one of my personal favorite of all times is the Naruto mod, where it adds a lot of jutsu and stuff from Naruto. Then there's also the sister mod to it, which is called the Uchiha clan mod, where you get to get access to like the Sharingan and Rinnegan from Naruto. And what's cool is that you can awaken into the Rinnegan, where you can then proceed to summon out a giant Mecha Susanoo and just like run around like just like bigger than like the cities themselves and just like smack dragons out of the sky with your giant sword. It's awesome. Fortunately, a lot of the good anime mods, as you can imagine, are actually in Japanese, so they're pretty difficult to get hands on.
Not bad, Topsider. You have earned my respect. But I must ask, why is it that you have so forcefully encroached up in my beloved drains?
Also, I just want to say, that necklace is really cool. Like, I've been, like, admiring it this whole time. Just wearing a giant, solid gold trash can around your neck sounds like it would be awesome. But I can imagine that being a bit of a hurdle. Ah, yeah.
You have come to retrieve Doug? You must mean Douglas. I see. Well then, let us continue our business in a less formal setting. Meet me outside.
I love the voice actor for this guy, too. But yeah. Mostly you're missing out on, like, Fate Stay Night mods, weirdly enough, if you're talking about it. Totally worth it if you get it to work. Yeah, definitely 100% that. Biggest issue is just being able to find them, because it's not like something you can just like find in Google. It's something you have to like ask around in like random Reddit threads and like Discords and stuff, because like usually only like one person will actually know like where it is, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, I know something like that, but then they only know about one thing about it. Like they only could find one mod. And so if you want like all of the cool anime mods, you'd have to like spend like days potentially like looking for each individual one, because they're usually on some random guy's blog like in Japan, and like they just release like one mod and then just like never do it again.
Let me see if I have this straight. You trespass in my drains, assault me and my associates, and you wish to abscond with my best worker? You got moxie, kid. I like that.
I love that word.
I am willing to negotiate for Douglas's services, but of course, I will require compensation in return.
I'm not sure if I've said this before, because I kind of love spouting it off every chance I get. But the word Moxie actually comes from the soft drink Moxie. Because initially, like all other sodas, it was originally sold as medicine. And it was sold as like nerve strengthening medicine. And so, if you developed your nerves, you'd have more courage and stuff, right? So, Moxie became an interchangeable term for being courageous because of the medicine. And now people don't even know where it comes from. I love little language facts like that. Also, I've had Moxie before. It's really bitter, and it really does taste like medicine. But it actually is really good if it's an acquired. Like, if you can acquire the taste, it's really good.
The various renovation projects that you topsiders have conducted up in Wizard City have caused significant structural damage to my drains.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't know about it. Like, I'm not even sure you would even understand, like, Because even like a lot of Americans don't even know what Moxie is because it's like sold in it. But you only actually like know the word usually from like old style gangster movies like this. Because apparently it was like only really used as like big slang in like New York and stuff.
My workers have tried to fix things, but they are but humble sanitation engineers, not builders. Fix the structural damage, and then we'll talk.
So, is this one of them? I actually don't remember what the structural damage is in this. Oh right, it's these pillar things. That is just one of the little factoids I know. I found out about it after I went to this particular candy store. It was like a novelty one. And I ended up getting a bottle of Moxie. And I thought that was really interesting after learning the story. I just kind of tell it every opportunity I get. Yeah, okay, so I'm not sure if this is part of the same quest as what I'm thinking of, but I think the drains either might be over or there might be a few more quests here. Foreign language slang is hard when you're not exposed to it and the culture around it.
Molto bene. The walls are practically good as new. Thank you. Now that I know you can be trusted, let us discuss our mutual acquaintance.
That's actually kind of why I brought it up, because in my experience, like, nobody knows about it. Like, apparently, like, only people from, like, Maine, which is a state, which I don't know if you've ever heard of it, because it's a very tiny one, and it's, like, very small and frigid, and basically all they have are, like, lobsters. It's, like, just south of Canada, and that's the only place in the entire United States where they sell it. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Maine is kind of forgettable even for me, like New Hampshire, right? That entire, like, northeast section of the United States is pretty forgettable, except for, like, New York. But yeah, like, even amongst Americans, right, unless you, like, live in Maine, I don't think anyone would actually, like, know what Moxie even is, like, as a drink. And, like, they probably only, like, just barely heard the word, and it's, like, buried in their subconscious because of, like, they saw, like, a gangster movie when they were a child.
As you may know, Douglas possesses prodigious digging skills, surpassed only by his loyalty and desire to prove himself as the goodest of good boys.
Doug is a good boy.
At present, Douglas is clearing the rubble from a collapsed service tunnel, a feat my other workers could not even dream of endeavoring to do. He's been hard at work for days now and should be close to finished. Go fetch Douglas from Service Tunnel C, and then we can discuss next steps.
Yeah. Thankfully, you have as good of an understanding as anybody would probably have if I explained that factoid to them. Oh, I'm heading in the wrong direction. It's in here. Oh, right. Okay, this is the quest I was thinking of.
I swear on my shovel, mate. I weren't trying to disturb no one's eternal sleep. Well, I was just digging because the boss told me to.
Silence, dogman. Desecrating the grave of a failed tree minder is punishable by death. Wait, who is this? Your grave robbing accomplice?
Oh, spectacular timing, wizard! Help!
Interesting. And then just show how little chance a European have of knowing its origin and such, if Americans doesn't even know it outside of Maine. Yeah. I think the funniest thing is that that just means nobody knows it. And so me saying it will always be a slightly injured thing. Oh yeah, by the way, look at that. 1400 health. I might not even have enough cards. Even if I can survive this, I might not be able to do enough damage to kill this guy. But yeah. As far as that little factoid goes, it's just nice to spread it around. Feel free to use it in your day-to-day life too. Like, nobody will have any idea what you're talking about. Then that means you just get to act smug about it. Like, oh yeah, I know about this obscure American soda. I wouldn't actually recommend doing that, though. It'd probably just come off as very annoying. Yeah, so that's actually one of the things I was actually, like, unsure about when I was actually, like, first saying it. Because I'm actually not sure how many American movies actually make it over. You'd be the life of the party, you could already see it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it would be an interesting factoid to share, you know, whenever you do it. Just don't be weird about it. Don't gloat too much about it. But yeah. I'm actually not sure how many, like, American movies actually make it over to Europe or anything. So I'm actually not sure, like, if there are even, like, any, like, old-style gangster movies that you could have even heard the word from in the first place. I mean, people generally like hearing obscure and interesting things. So yeah, it's a good factoid to just keep in your back pocket. Whenever you're having a topic, like a talk about soda or something, then you'll know you have your chance. And you can remember that it was me who helped gain you the admiration of your peers or whatever. Ooh, what should I do here? I think I'll balance for it again. Alright, cool, it fizzled. Didn't even matter. Uh-oh, my bad. Come on. Oh, just barely. Where I think I... Uh-oh. If he attacks and hits me, I'm dead. 100%. But I can kill him, so I just need to not get hit. Oh, he put a weakness on me. This is so tense. Come on. Come on, do enough damage. Oh no, that weakness really killed me. Oh, this sucks. This is tough. This is tough. Yep, he got me. Oh, that was so close though. If only it hadn't fizzled, then I would have won. Yeah, the drains for a level 15 dungeon are no joke. Let's see, what can I make adjustments for? But what I can do, actually, that never even occurred to me until now. I'll just grab this. Yeah, so now I have fire shields on my deck. I'm gonna have to end up training all of those, I think, because I'm gonna have to use them against the specific bosses that might end up being troublesome for each individual element. Yeah, that was very close, if nothing else. Well, wait a minute. If I'm building up, it might be a good chance to try this out. And since he's only one enemy, I might throw in locust swarms instead. Let's try this out. Depending on the amount of power pips I get, and speaking of which, I got one right off the bat. If I get enough power pips, I could use that Hydra spell, which should one-shot him with a feint in the 2 blades. Okay, we're actually getting a pretty decent number of them. This might actually go very well for me then. But we do need to get at least one normal pip for the feint. Oh, never mind. He threw down a weakness on us. There we go. Alright, cool. That weakness does affect us a lot. Then again, so does our fire shield, so it's not like he can kill us. We'll just toss out one of those. I do believe this is the final boss for this section of the drains, though. Uh-oh, he's going for a Banshee. That will hit for full strength. Well, I could use it now. It won't be at full power. You know, I will. I'll just use it now. Doesn't even matter. Oh, I hit it with the fire one? That means he resisted most of it. Oh, that sucks. Alright, well, we'll just hit him with the locust ones, and that will kill him, for sure. And he's passive. Alright. Nice. So trading Fire Shield was kind of a little bit of a mistake, because he didn't end up actually using any fire spells against me this time. Now, well, actually, I think putting it down might have prevented him from using them. But yeah. I believe that is the final boss of the drains. Completed. Easy this time.
Enough! You've learned your lesson, right? Good. Now be gone. The lot of you. And no more disturbing graves. Understood?
Understood. Come on, wizard. Let's hightail it out of here.
Alright. We did it. Pretty tough fight. Pretty tense one. Especially that first round. But I pulled it off. Certainly exciting though. Uh-oh. More barking.
Ah, you have returned. Let us discuss. Are you feeling all right, Douglas? You look as though you have seen a ghost.
Well, see, what happened, Mr. the Boss, sir, was I was all but done digging the rubble out when I accidentally dug through the floor. A little. Then this Barnby chap appears out of nowhere, moaning that I woke him up and starts in on me. I'd be dead if it weren't for the wizard.
Oh, Douglas, not only are you an expert digger, but you are also an expert comedian. Your completely implausible ghost story amuses me.
Yeah, well, alright then. Since the tunnel's mostly cleared, I was wondering if I could go back up topside. My lunch is getting cold.
Of course, Douglas. You've more than earned that lunch. You and your wizard friend are always welcome down here in my drains. Arrivederci.
Okay. Yes, thank you. And that is the drains. Until we talk to Renee. So yeah, once this is done, we're just gonna call it a stream, I guess, for tonight. Because I just remember there is technically one more dungeon we can do, but I do think we'll save that another time. Specifically whenever I get a few better pieces of gear, which I can't get right now. So yeah, we'll just talk to her, and I believe we'll be calling it a night.
Wizard, you found...
Let's hear what she has to say.
You got out. Did you get eaten by a cave troll or a sewer kraken?
No, I don't think so. But I did almost get mollywalloped by a really tired old arborist. Proper grumpy fellow he was.
Well, we're just happy you're back.
Me too. It's all thanks to the wizard. Now, if it's all right with you lot, I'd really like to eat my lunch now.
Oh, well, Dougie, me boy, I'm afraid I got some bad news.
So yes, thank you very much for coming, Sunloops. Thank you for the follow, I have 10 Max Wizards, and thank you for also coming by before Sleeping Owl. It's been a great stream talking to all of you and sharing my little factoids. Yes. So, in light of finishing Wizard City, pretty much, I'll be sending it off. So have a good night, everyone. Thank you for coming.